everybody, and welcome back to the JoyClicks Gamescast. I'm your host, Christian Buckley, here for episode 118, episode 2 of the live era. I'm joined, as always, by my partner in podcasting, the cozy conductor, Kevin Diaz. How are you doing?
Greetings, salutations, how you doing? I'm like half losing my voice, you know what I'm saying? It's always a good sign. It's always a good sign in gaming when you're losing your voice, you know what I'm saying? It's a good time. We had some screams, we had some laughs, we had some cries, you know what I'm saying? A lot of cries, a lot of tears. Perhaps tears in the kingdom, you know what I'm saying? You like that,
look
you
at
like
that,
that,
look
huh?
at that.
Yeah, you like that. Look at that. A little love to Nintendo, you know what I'm saying?
We have quite a large show today. We have essentially what would have been what feels like the largest news of E3 out this year in September. We have a lot of shows, a lot of things to recap, a lot of games to discuss in this episode. Before we get to any of that, though, Kevin, I have a question.
Yes.
I have a question that I wanted to lead with on this episode. I know
Yes.
you're not a big Halloween fan, correct?
No.
Fall season is coming up.
Yes.
How do you feel about fall adjacent things? Like, do you like an apple pie? Do you like any seasonal beverages? Is there anything like that? Or is it just like mainly the Halloween holiday you're not into? Or is it just altogether
I like
fall?
the vibe.
Okay.
I like the vibe going into, I like the overall vibe, right? But like, I don't be getting like the, pumpkin this assortment of drink. You know what I'm saying? I know you're a big fan. No hate to that. By all means, hey, please drink the beverage of choice that you desire, right? Like I love me a nice hot chocolate in the wintertime. You know what I'm saying? Like that's, I'd say the closest adjacent, if you will. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
But no, I got no beef with anything else but Halloween. I just don't like Halloween that much. You know what I'm saying? But,
Sure. I get it.
yeah.
Well, good to know, I asked because I did have a pumpkin coffee this morning.
Oh, I thought there was something like
No, it was just
like,
it was just an
how do you feel
icebreaker.
about and I was like, how you feel about doing a Halloween episode where we dress up for
Oh,
Gamescast?
well, I don't know. When is Halloween this year? Oh, I'm going to be in New York for
It's a
Halloween,
Monday,
actually.
bro.
So,
It's a Monday too. It's a Monday. It's
Yeah.
poo-poo. Maybe the week before? Probably not. I'm not gonna dress up. The fuck?
I might. I don't know.
I mean, I could shave my head and douse myself in white, and then wear a little, do a little red tattoo marking type thing. You know what I'm saying? Probably not though. Probably not.
There's no patch notes this week because, things are hot, things are spicy. We got a lot of stuff to cover. I will say, though, at the start of the show this week, once again, shout out for anybody tuning in to the live recording. If you want this, you can check it out live on youtube.com/joyclicks every Wednesday. If you're listening to it on audio service, if you're watching on YouTube and you want it on audio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the whole rigmarole, I will shout out, as of this week, a brand new show has debuted on JoyClicks and podcast services. It is called The Long Play Club, Batman Arkham Asylum. Episode 1 is up. If you are a fan of Batman Arkham, if you are a fan of the long-form Metal Gear Solid retrospective replay podcast that myself and Kevin were on last year, give it a shot. First episode's up. Next episode, we'll be covering the back half of Arkham Asylum. That's next Monday, and presumably every Monday, when applicable, we'll have a continued episode for each Arkham game, including Arkham Origins, Kevin. I'm finally going to play it this fall. So,
As you should. I'm feeling a little FOMO. I can't lie. Feeling a little FOMO. I'm over here on the sidelines, like, damn.
door is open. If you have time to replay one of them, if you feel like, because I think we're gonna do Origins around December. I think we're doing Christmas Origins because that's the setting. So
I don't even want to say because I know me.
You don't have to. The door is open. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
The door is always open.
But I did get FOMO seeing, look at all my friends playing games. Remember Metal Gear? That was fun.
Yeah. Well,
that was a great time.
We still have again we have to make good on Revengeance at some point. I know you're excited.
I gotta get on PS3 or wait for the coveted PlayStation extra or premium tiers to put that on there.
One day.
Gotta wait on that, but we'll see.
Well, why don't we get into the show? We have some interesting stuff. Like I said, no patch notes. So today we're going to kick off with some games that we've been playing. First up, Um, I will begin with this because I can't say much about it due to the nature of what the game is, but I have to talk about Immortality. I'm sure you've heard some things about this game, Kevin.
Mm-hmm. I have.
Shout out Jack Martin in the chat. I was texting him a lot this weekend because we both played through Immortality. And Immortality, if you're unaware, is from Sam Barlow, who worked on, I believe, Telling Lies and Her Story, which are two, I'd say, cult hits of the last couple of years. They've really blown up in terms of viralness of them because they're FMV games, which for those that don't know, it's full motion video. It's a video game that you interact with. It's live action actors performing, and you interact with to varying degrees. And what's really cool about Immortality is even though it is FMV, even though it is like they filmed these scenes like you would have filmed, it is one of the most interesting and compelling and I think celebratory video game stories that I have played in a very long time. Because, again, I can't get into too much because saying too much about this game is a spoiler, absolutely. But it has a love and adoration for video games, and it does that through being a really compelling narrative that's entirely film. So, I like there are game mechanics to it that are really interesting. You basically premise is there's three films of this actress who was supposed to be this massive celebrity, but all three films did not get released. And the player premise for the game is there's this new AI software that's like, hey, we have been able to recover the footage from her films, so her filmography, interviews surrounding the films, late night talk show things. So scrub through it, figure out what happened to Marissa Marcel, who's the lead actress in all these films. And that's your only motivation. And you start with like one clip and it's maybe like 15 seconds. You can rewind, fast forward, scrub through, go frame by frame, and you have a little cursor that you can hover over anything in the frame, be it an actor's face, a prop, anything on the set, things like that. And whatever you select, the AI that you're working with as a player will go through all of the footage that exists of this woman's career. So say I click like a lipstick, it will find another piece of footage from her filmography that uses lipstick. So like you're like trying to connect breadcrumbs and like, okay, what do I think happened to her? Was it violent? This scene has a gun in it. Let me click on a gun and let me just like keep looking for all the footage that exists with this actress's career and a gun. And then you'll be like, oh, who's that person? Let me follow along this person and see what they have to do with her. Were they a co-star? Were they a producer? All of these things. And it just keeps going and going and going. And there's a wild element to the game that I cannot talk about at all. Just know it is worth playing, it is worth knowing as little as possible, but it is a little haunting at times and a little scary, honestly. Like,
Mm,
um,
mm.
I was texting Jack, and once I found out the weird part of the game, he was like, "Yeah, I could not sleep the first night that I played this because I like it was just that disturbing." But Lord, is it a cool game? It's a very very cool video game. So
The only like lore I see mainly, I mean, like aside from like a good plot and like good story, right? Sorry, I shook the whole desk. Um, is that I you very much know where like I love the premise of like, all right, I'm in a sandbox environment,
mhm,
right? Use the tools that are in front of me to figure it out. Very much like a Resident Evil type of experience that I love, where it's like, okay, like all I have is what's in this zone.
mhm,
I gotta find it, figure it out, right? So it sounds like what you're pitching is similar to like taking that, but in the vein of looking through someone's past, right?
mhm,
And through that standpoint, which like to get to an end point, a reasoning as to what happened, right? So
mhm.
I see that definitely as an appeal. I don't think I could play it yet anywhere.
Yeah. So
As you said, it's on Game Pass, right? So you know.
yes, I played it on Game Pass. I don't know what the price is for this, but I do think it is like an experience that will be talked about at the end of the year. Like, it's absolutely worth picking up if you're able to do it Game Pass or not. It is coming to the Netflix video game thing that they got going on lately.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Is that coming soon or it's
I
out now?
It's coming soon. I don't know when, but I'd imagine before the end of this year because, like Jack is saying in the chat, we started making our like GOTY shortlist doc for awards this morning. This is going to be a game that gets talked about at the end of the year, 1,000,000%. So, absolutely worth trying. Um, and that's another thing too. Like the performances in this game, absolutely incredible. Like it gets weird because how do you feel about this? It's an FMV game, so it is a game, and there are performances in here. Do you think it's like a weird thing if a performance in this game would be nominated alongside someone like Christopher Judge as Kratos at the Game Awards?
Yeah, because like I always take it to like I almost in some ways view voice acting and voice actors
Mm-hmm.
as like not more talented per se, but they have a harder thing to portray some like to portray emotion, portray the nuances of a scene, right,
Mm-hmm.
with only using their only using their voice, right? Versus like if you have the full live action shot,
Mm-hmm.
you can utilize your facial expressions, all that, right? So I think an FMV game probably has that where they can utilize their facial expressions to like really boost the performance, right? Even though, hey, they are mocapping Christopher Judge's
That's
face.
what I was gonna
There is
say, yeah.
that,
Because
right?
like
But like
today, for sure,
there
like
is,
performance capture
yeah,
gets it closer. So like, because this was
yeah,
a discussion a while ago at the Academy Awards. I remember like the year Planet of the Apes came out, like the reboot, and people were like, "Oh, Andy Serkis should be nominated for like Best Actor because of what he did as the lead ape." And I was like, I could see a case there, but the thing was like, well, is it a performance or is it all the artists who worked on fine tuning those animations? Like, what are you awarding there? So it's very interesting. I think if people want to nominate performances in this game, there's one for sure that I think absolutely could deserve an award for best performance. But I'm, yeah, very curious because I think that will be a conversation that gets had a lot at the end of the year. So interesting to see where you
for me,
align.
I still think about Die Hardman's like his last scene in Death Stranding.
Mm-hmm.
God damn, what a fucking game. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to
Yeah.
that. Shout out
So
to that. Mm-mm-mm.
I would love to hear what you have to say on this whenever you get a chance to play it because I think you're either gonna hate it or like become so heavily hooked the way you were with like trying to connect everything with Metal Gear. Like it's one of those two options, is what I think. So very
So,
curious.
okay.
Um, while we're talking about new games, I can also very briefly mention I have played some Disney Dreamlight Valley since our last
Mm,
recording. I
mm.
wanted to before we recorded last week, but I have not. Had not then, I have now. Um,
Oh, and watch your mouth. Go ahead.
I'm playing on Game Pass again. It released on everything through Founders Packs, sort of like well, Multiverses had a free version at launch or beta launch, whatever they're calling it. Um,
I like Overwatch 2 right. Well, no, not like right now, but Overwatch has done that
yeah.
where like
Mhm.
you buy the founders pack. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, so I believe Dreamlight Valley is going to have a free to play version down the line, but $30, Switch, PC, PlayStation, Xbox, you get the Founders Pack, which is basically you just get the game now, you get a bunch of currency, you get like 3 or 4 times the amount of currency needed for the Battle Pass uh, for this season, which is Pixar themed. Um, and what's great is if you claim the Founders Pack somewhere, there is cross save. So because I'm playing on Game Pass, I've claimed the Founders Pack. That is the version that is on Game Pass. When this launches on Switch, free to play, I'll be able to take that Founders Pack stuff, carry over on my progress to a handheld if I'd like to continue in the future. Because it's very much an Animal Crossing like, a Stardew Valley like, a Harvest Moon like, I would assume, where you have this village that you, as a regular everyday person, get ported into. Merlin, known from Kingdom Hearts, is the first person who greets you and is like, "Hey, everybody moved out because there was this forgetting disease that happened that caused all the magic to leave the area. But you're special. You can help bring it back." So basically, Animal Crossing style, you're rehabilitating this town environment. There's only a couple villagers there to start out, like Mickey and Goofy start out, and you have to weed things, plant things, talk to people. Scrooge McDuck is basically Tom Nook. Fund the economy to jumpstart the town, and then eventually you'll be able to, recruit villagers, get iconic Disney Pixar characters in there. You get a choice of 3 portals to walk through after you get through the tutorial of like, here's how you water things, here's how you fish. I forget what the options were, but I chose Ratatouille World. So I went there, I talked to Remy, a little chef, and I was teleported into like this French kitchen that Remy was in, and he's like, "Hey, big dinner rush, help me out." And you cook basically like 6 recipes for him, and then he's like, "Hey, that was great. I'll move into your town." And then he sets up a restaurant in your village. So
Okay.
Kingdom Hearts ish, where it's like there's a bunch of different Disney worlds that you'll get to explore, but Animal Crossing as well, where it's like, okay, now we come back to our mother base essentially and build it up and refine it and chill out in it. So mechanically, I texted you and Jack this, like there are elements of Animal Crossing that I think are done better here, like the tool wheel is key. It's just so much snappier. It's not feeling like it's locked in so heavily to Animal Crossing, where it's like if you are trying to aim here and then it shoots somewhere else, like it shows you where you're gonna dig with like a little shadow. So
Okay. Right. Right. I laugh because like you said Mother Base and like I imagine like it's like Metal Gear like it's like
yeah, you can beat up Goofy. You can
yeah
throw him
fucking
down and they salute you.
it's lit.
So
They play this like a damn fiddle.
mhm.
Shit. Yeah. I've been pitching this to my girlfriend like yo, because she loves Sims, she loves Animal Crossing. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So I'm like, and she is diehard Disney obsessed,
Yeah,
right? So I'm like, listen, like this is like the perfect storm, you know.
yeah,
So trying to get her on that on her Switch, but yeah, it looks cool. I might wait to check it out next
yeah.
year, you know, with the full release. That's probably gonna be my MO. You know, just because like I'm not like the biggest Disney fan
Mhm.
personally, but I do like those, you know, Animal Crossing esque type of games where like you. I do like those like checklists, like mundane things where like,
Mhm.
you know, get it done. I get that boost in my system. Like I like accomplishing things. So
Yeah.
sounds
And
cool.
for
Sounds cool.
people who are like against Animal Crossing sort of morals, I guess there's a better word for it, but like the rigidity to take your time, things move in real time. There is a day night cycle that is reflective of real time, but like you can do as much as you want in a day. There is a stamina system for like if you're trying to weed out everything in the world, but if you go into your house and then come back out, your stamina is completely replenished. And you can also like buff your stamina to be like twice as large if you cook and eat stuff. So as long as you plan for it, you can do as much as you want, and there's no time gating that I've seen so far. So pretty cool. At the Disney event, they announced a Toy Story realm is being added this fall. So like you'll go to Andy's room to recruit Buzz and Woody. You'll be a little tiny, do a little mission there. So it seems like they're going to support it for a while because it's been doing numbers um, since it came out. But yeah, if you like Animal
So,
Crossing, if you like Disney, give it a shot. I'm having fun. So I'll throw it to you though.
yes,
You wrapped up Last of Us Part One. Uh,
I did.
you were cut short almost kind of last week with the
Yes.
power
I hope the
outage.
power doesn't go out this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a whole neighborhood wide thing. It
Hmm.
wasn't just me, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, I was able to phone in and do the rest of the show last week. But yeah, I think by the time I recorded last week. I was at Tommy's Dam, I think. I believe is where I was at.
You're around
That
there,
I
yeah.
could be wrong on that, but like around there, right? So I beat the game and I beat Left Behind as well. Not much to report back, but like bottom line, like yo, Last of Us is one of the best games of all fucking time. Like, let's just keep it a stack. You know what I'm saying? Like, it outdoes like a lot of games that are out today, and it's a fucking 9-year-old game about to be a decade old next year. You know what I'm saying? The game is great, right? You know, you can say this or that about the price, whatever. I already gave my recommendation. That is, hey, you know, if you're a big Last of Us fan, I feel like this would be something that you would definitely enjoy. If you're not ready to play it yet, I would implore you to definitely be of the mind of the next time you're ready to play Last of Us. I hope it's this version. I hope it's part one, just because of all the features that are in this version as well, and just the overall fidelity of it. Especially if you have things like a 4K display and you're able to actually take in those enhancements for this game. You know what I'm saying? I would definitely recommend it from that standpoint as well. And yeah, no, I recognize definitely it's not for everyone, but if you do experience it, I think that you will see the true fruits of this offering, right? And I did go back and play a little bit of remastered as well after I beat part one, and yeah, it's I'm never playing no unless for factions. That's the only reason. But yeah, Left Behind was really great too. Enjoyed that as well. You know what I'm saying? Much short, a lot shorter than I thought. Than I remembered. Like that's a straight up like 2 hour game if that.
Yeah, I
Um,
played it for the first time when I replayed remaster, or when I played remaster for the first time before part two, and that was my first time playing Left Behind. And I was like, oh, like for me, I was like, oh, this is like beefier than I thought, even though it was 2 hours. But
yeah,
that was my
yeah.
first time experiencing it, so I was like surprised at the length of it.
There was a lot packed in there for
Yeah.
sure. There's a lot packed in there, and it really does have like a nice, brisk pace to it. But yeah, man, like part one's great. It's a great package. Overall, you can say this or that about it, but you know what? At the end of the day, they're done with development of it. It's done. All right, like it's out, it's released, it's done. Zip nada. Right. So now we can look forward to things like Factions 2. Hopefully that drops next year. Been waiting for 3 fucking years.
Keep waiting, buddy. Keep waiting.
Let's keep it waiting. Let's keep it waiting. You know what I'm saying? But I know they're gonna bring the goods. I know they're gonna bring the goods. It's okay. It's okay. We can wait a little bit here and there. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? I know they're gonna come home and bring it to me. You know what I'm saying?
While we're on topic, I saw you did a video of
Yes.
potential sequel ideas hidden in this game,
That
right?
that video, the algorithm is not catching it the way I want it to, but that's a good one. That's me saying that's a good one, and I don't like doing that with my like I don't. I'm bad at praising myself, honestly. I'm really bad at that. But like that video, y'all should watch that. I think I cracked the code. Honestly, we go into some leaks beforehand. You know what I'm saying? You ever heard of Strays Cross, Christian? You
Yeah, that
ever heard
was
of
the
Strays
game that
Cross?
sounded like Dishonored, right?
It's not like the Solid. I don't know if it's. I don't know if.
It was like a steampunky first-person faction thing takes
Yes.
over a.
The
That's Dishonored, yeah.
I mean, I don't know what that is, but you know what I'm saying. It's a unique Naughty Dog leak out there. You know what I'm saying. Not to be compared to anything else, as you know. No, I'm playing, but yeah, I think I cracked something there.
Nice.
If I'm right, if I'm fucking right, that's the video. All right. I want to hear no, not that's the video that connected all the tendrils and got it going. But
For sure.
yeah, definitely go check out that. But yeah, that's based off of some new artwork that was found in part one. You probably saw it over the weekend and all that. But yeah, I have bought Midnight Fight Express and Cult of the Lamb on Switch. So Cult of the Lamb, I'll probably save until after I beat Midnight Fight. That way I can end that game on my flights I have later on this weekend. Not this weekend. Later on in the month. And yeah,
Nice.
gonna have thoughts on that. Hopefully, if I get to beat that, you know what I'm saying. And Monster 2 beta next week. That's cool. That's cool. So yeah,
For the
Indeed.
record, I haven't touched Midnight Fight since the last time I talked about it. So
bro, I have a quarrel with that game already. Why is it one word? Is there a reason for that? If you look on PlayStation, it's Midnight Fight Express, all one
Oh,
word, intercapped.
let me look on the Xbox app to see if it's the same thing.
Look that, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because I don't
If
remember
that's,
seeing that.
bro, I'm like, that is an eyesore. That's gonna bother me. That's bothering me heavily. You know what I'm saying? Wait, let me actually double check on my like PlayStation app because maybe that's a UI thing or what. I don't know, but
Um,
I'm
Midnight
I'm
Fight
pretty sure.
Express, three
Is it all
words.
separate words? Separate words, huh?
3 words on the
Separate
Xbox
words.
app. I'll
Okay.
send you a picture of it.
Yeah, over here. Okay, okay. Interesting. So the game listing
Mm-hmm.
is three separate words, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when I go to download the PS5 or the PS4 version, it's one word. So it seems like the actual name of the application
Mm-hmm.
is showing up as one word. So
Okay.
that's a bit annoying. Okay, got it. Okay, kind of annoying, but
Mm-hmm.
not a big deal.
Nice.
Not a big deal.
Yeah. As far as the next couple weeks for me go, like I'm still playing Red Dead. I'm still kind of coasting. I'll try and play a little more Midnight Fight because like I do like the music and the beat 'em up stuff is fun, but I just for me I don't think it's something that's just gonna like grab me long enough to like see it through fully, even though it's not very long. But I do think you'll probably really enjoy it. Just give it like 2 missions because then you'll have your full kit. That's the hurdle I had to get over of like it'd be really nice if I could like sprint and have a dodge and like all that stuff. And I don't know why they gave it for me like that. Maybe just to like get you used to how it plays. But it's like it's a beat 'em up. You know, it's like you punch. So it's like why did you hold off on introducing the other mechanics? But yeah, it's solid. It's good. I think I'll have a good time with it. And Cult of the Lamb, I know I've heard a lot of good things about. So I think that's it for games we're playing though. And because of the state of the games industry the last week, POTS is now, and it is just E3 in September. So it's time for POTS.
Spots.
The way I have this set up, Kevin, is I have the Ubisoft event. Well, hold on. Maybe I should bump.
Oh, I forgot the Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
Because
Oh,
there's
I forgot the Ubisoft event, bro. Jesus.
because there's less things. I'm gonna call an audible. I'll put this first. We have the Disney event, the Disney Marvel Games event, Ubisoft, Nintendo Direct, and PlayStation. I have pulled what I thought were the biggest things that we learned from there, ranging from like one or two per presentation, and then some others have like four. Um, we'll bring up the headlines. If there's anything that we pass over that you wanted to talk about or point out, we will. And in the end, we'll each pick 3 most exciting games from all the presentations combined that stood out to us the most, that we're keeping a close eye on after this past week. But before all of that, how did you feel about just this barrage of game announcements and presentations? Like TGS is this week, so like yeah, it makes sense that we're gonna get a lot of game news. But when it comes to like Ubisoft, Nintendo, and PlayStation, presumably a lot of the stuff we learned this week would have been at E3 had they presented there. So, any thoughts behind the shift, or is it just nothing matters anymore? Like,
Yeah, I got nothing for. I don't
yeah.
know. I got no insider analysis. I know that PlayStation did cite like in their blog that like these are supposed to tee up and at least be out there before TGS,
Mm-hmm.
right? A lot of those games will be there. Nintendo, I don't know, and Ubisoft. I
Yeah.
feel like that was premeditated and planned for a while. So was the Disney Showcase. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like those were just like kind of just happened to be there, but Sony and Sony at least had like a somewhat reason, and Nintendo I have no fucking clue. Whatever, it's just
Yeah.
they just be doing their thing.
Yeah. Um, so why don't we get into the chronological order of these events? First up was the Disney and Marvel Games Showcase, which I believe was the kickoff to D23 last weekend, hosted by Kind of Funny's Blessing Adeoye Jr. This was the first of its kind. We reacted to it, and if they never did one of these again, would you mind?
I know they're doing them every other. Oh wait, no, that's D23. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the cadence will be here for this.
Because they got a lot of
You
games.
know.
Because they showcased a lot of games in that presentation. Most of them were mobile, but Disney does do a lot of games. So like, justifiably, they could probably do a presentation whenever they want to. But I think the big draw for like hardcore would not probably be there every time unless they do maybe one a year. And even then, like what the big thing here was the confirmation of a
Amy
game
Vegas game.
that was all cinematic,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. No,
So
it's kind of yeah, it was kind of meh.
mhm.
Definitely was yeah. No, and like to even touch base on like the Amy Hennig game, like I'm kind of shocked that's real. I'm kind of shocked that's what they're actually going with. You know what I'm saying? Don't have a lot of like hype right now or excitement about it. I think I really just need to just see more of it. But yeah, it's a interesting premise. I definitely was like, I don't think it's gonna happen. Like, I don't know, like just that just sounded like a weird rumor.
Mhm.
And now that it's real, I'm just having a hard time like seeing the end game of it. It'll probably come clear, and I'll probably come around to it. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Mhm.
probably gonna play it. Let's keep it real. But you know, right now,
Probably.
it was cool.
You're saying you're probably gonna play the first Amy Hennig game that she ships in Uncharted 3.
Yeah. Why? What? What's wrong with
Do you,
that?
do you think there's a world where you don't? Is my question.
Oh, okay. The way I worded that. Yeah. Okay. No, I mean, like, yeah. I'm
Yeah,
gonna play it, but like, yeah, yeah. My bad. My bad. My bad.
for sure.
Okay. Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah. No, like, I'm gonna play it, but also shot the blessing. But like, yeah. I'm gonna definitely play it, but we'll see. We'll see. What if it ends up being like a fucking, it's not going to, but like,
Hmm.
what if it's
But
like
you can
a
say you can say it.
top down, top down fucking,
Oh,
some bullshit. Who knows? You
I
know what
thought you
I'm
were gonna say
saying?
Avengers. I thought that's where you're going with that. Um,
I mean, there is that, but
yeah.
I
So
hope not.
for
I hope
those
not.
for those that missed the rumor when we talked about it last week, it's a game set in World War II, untitled still, but it's focused on Captain America and T'Challa's grandfather, former Black Panther during World War II. There are two other characters relevant here. There is a Wakandan spy and an American soldier, and you will be playing as all four of these characters at different points throughout the campaign. Now, what stood out to me about the specific game, because again, it's just a trailer, it's a CG trailer, it's a concept, cool, World War II vibes, a lot of Hydra stuff in there. Um, they didn't say the words single player, and they were never talking about multiplayer during this. But when you see that thing, when you see four people on a key art in 2022, the inclination is, oh, is this a multiplayer thing? And I scrubbed through everything I could. They did not specifically say single player. They said this is a story game. They didn't say it wasn't multiplayer, and they didn't say it was single player. So I think that
I thought it was single player.
there's a
That's what I thought.
there is a world where this is not a full single player game. There's a possibility, you know, and they haven't denied that it's multiplayer, but they also haven't said it. You know, like it's nebulous right now because it's really just a concept trailer. It's not even a title. So the premise is cool
Damn.
though, like you said. Um,
Mm. They did in the interview after the trailer, according to Jay Shako.
okay, I missed that thing because I was looking at the press
Okay.
releases. I saw nary a word of single player, and we all know that when there's a
And
single player game, they love saying it's a single player game, so they get those
y-
headlines.
and like even that too, right? Like you can play Avengers single player.
Yeah, you
That
can.
doesn't make it that doesn't
Mhm.
necessarily eliminate the multiplayer components of that, right? And what that entails, you know what I'm saying? And like the game design of having to facilitate multiple people
Mhm.
and one person, that can all seep in to make it less of a enjoyable single player. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
Jay Jago saying it's single player only, narrative and action adventure oriented. Single player only.
okay, I I could be mistaken, but I spent like 30 minutes after that presentation reading all these press things and trying to
Jay
see those
Shaco,
words
can you link that for us as we move on? I'm just curious. I'm
for
just
sure.
curious. You know what I'm saying?
But I want to ask you this question because I asked this to Jack on Excelsior when we ran through all the Marvel stuff from that presentation.
Yeah.
The thing that excites me the most about this is that I do not see a world where this specific game gets a sequel. And potentially the turnaround is relatively short. We know Amy Hennig makes like really linear focus, really solid action adventure games. So I guess same question I asked him. Do you disagree? Do you see a world where this specific game, like what is the sequel to Captain America and Black Panther's grandfather in World War II, like the Vietnam War, or like do you maybe see if they find success here, this partnership continuing with another really interesting concept? Because I'm
Yeah,
more excited about
yeah,
that possibility.
yeah. I mean, if they like keep it going, right, and like they do like a not like a revisionist, like change the outcome of the wars itself, right? But like revisionist in terms of like blending in heroes into these uh human conflicts throughout history, right? And like seeing how like they, you know, in just fun ways to look at it, like to throw in these heroes, right? Even though hey, it's not necessarily fun topics. I'm not saying it's like a grand old time to, you know, restructure what World War II was, right? But
Right.
like for this specific example, right? To see if I don't know, like, well, in that maybe this game ends with Cap being frozen in ice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you know, we have the second game that is over the Cold War, right? And it's cold because Captain America's cold. You know what I'm saying? Also, right? And
Capsule.
maybe like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, Panther's trying to locate Cap, right? But
Mm-hmm.
also trying to, you know, maybe he teams up with someone else, right? Maybe that's when they bring in the X-Men. You know what I'm saying? During that era, I don't know. Who knows, right? But like, yeah, like I can see that being cool if it's planned out in like a interesting way for sure. Um, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. But yeah, it does seem more like a one-off thing, at
Mm-hmm.
least right now. You know,
Yeah.
until we get the full scope of it. But
Yeah.
yeah,
So hopefully we see more things like this from Marvel. The other thing that I want to shout out from this presentation that I thought was very cool and was probably the most vocal reaction I had to any of the announcements last weekend from reactions was the new game from Bithell Games, notable for Thomas Was Alone and Subsurface Circular, I believe. The like adventure game leaning detective story is Tron Identity, which Mike Bithell's been tweeting a lot about, is essentially the beginning of a multi game partnership with Disney to begin a renaissance of Tron, to bring Tron back. Um, this is, first off, a dream because I wanted a Tron game forever. And I think as cool as like an open world, explore the grid, make your avatar sort of thing would be, I think that is a very safe game. And focusing on narrative with this is intriguing because the way they're positioning it is it's a detective story, single player narrative. You're going from location to location, visual novel esque, trying to solve a mystery in a new grid on a new server. So they're able to establish like their own lore here. I doubt it'd be cool if they had like the actual Tron show up in this, but I don't think they will. Like I think it seems very intentional that they're setting up like you know a new world to establish, and Bithell was talking a lot about like multi-game project, the first of many, and it's focused on reviving Tron. So Tron and detective game speaks to me very heavily. So excited
indeed,
about that.
indeed. Wanted to double back because I don't have a lot to say about Tron. You
Yeah.
know, I think I saw the movie.
Have you seen Tron
I
Legacy?
think I think I did. There was an old man. I don't fucking
Jeff
know.
Bridges.
Orange lights. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, him. That damn, I call him old man. That's kind of fucked up. Him, yeah, you know, that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I think I saw that movie. I think I remember something about that. I think
It's a stylish film.
yeah. I think I remember that. I think.
Yeah. That
Um
soundtrack,
wanted to,
Daft Punk, so good.
I do like some Daft Punk. They
Listen
do
to
have
that.
fat beats.
Next time you need music, throw that soundtrack on, dude. Incredible. So good.
I'm still I'm still on the Mass Effect 3 OST, man. Like
Okay.
I'm
Well,
still
if you
I'm
need
still
more,
100, bro. That's fucked up.
it's a lot of synth, a lot of tech stuff.
I do like synth. I
It's
do like
very,
synth.
very good. It's very good.
I I do love me some synth.
Hmm.
You see, so Owen linked in the chat where the headline is Amy Hennig's Marvel game is an AAA experience, which that is not proper grammar. Is N AAA okay? Is a AAA single player experience. The byline you shouldn't expect co-op action, but I see what you're saying, Christian. We're like these quotes, they don't say single player game.
They
They
don't.
do say they do bring up that like you'll be able to have like that they have four playable heroes at
Yep.
different points in the story. They have
Hmm.
that, but I was gonna say, Christian, you got fucked, but no, you no no. The quotes don't specifically say single player anywhere. I'm on the control. Is it yeah? No wait, what is it? Control
Control
C?
F,
Was it
Command
Control
F
S? Control F,
for
Command
Mac.
F, Command F.
Because like, I would be inclined to believe that an Amy Hennig game is probably just going to be single player. But Skydance New Media is a new studio. This is their first game, right? What's the trend? How do games do well now? Gotta have that multiplayer component. You gotta have that live thing. You gotta keep them playing. You know.
Or of course, having high quality single player experiences that are native driven, of course, that are definitely not that. Come on, now, Christian. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, dog. You know what
I
I'm
know,
saying?
but
But
I'm
you're
saying
right.
for a brand
From
new
a general
studio,
standpoint. Yeah, I hear you. I
you
hear
know.
you.
So
And I don't know why that's the title in the byline, by the way. I don't know what that's about. Because nowhere in the article does it say that it lacks co-op and it is single player.
hmm
Nowhere in the article does it say that. So
yeah.
that's interesting.
So
Maybe like that.
I'm not gonna write it off entirely that it could be
Yeah,
single
yeah,
player,
yeah.
or that it couldn't
Yeah.
be single player, but I think there's a
Right.
chance. There's a
Yeah.
25% chance that it's not. So, but that was the Disney showcase. Was there anything else that was there that stood out to you?
Not that I remember, bro.
Okay,
Not that I remember
then
at all.
let's move on to the Ubisoft forward slash.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hard stop.
Mhm.
That Disney platformer looked kind of heat.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
That thing looked heat. What was that called?
So it was something Illusion because it was a reference to there's a 2D Mickey platformer called Castle of Illusion on the Genesis, I think, which is like a huge cult classic that got remade on the 360. Um, it's something
Yes.
Illusion, I think.
New co-op game, Mickey Mouse and Friends Illusion Island, I
Yep.
think is what it's called. It's for the Switch, 2D platformer. That thing looked fire.
Yeah.
That was probably the best thing I saw at the
Mhm.
show, for sure.
Yeah. So
For sure. Yeah. Shout out to that.
I'm very interested in that. It has Rayman Legends vibes, I think, and Rayman Origins, I guess, is more accurate because that was more of the 2D, not as much painterly depth. Legends was more about that, but this looks like those like the modern Mickey Mouse shorts art style. So yeah, looks cool, and that's out I think early next year. So uh, moving on, the Ubisoft Forward slash Assassin's Creed anniversary event presentation. I didn't get a chance to fully give my undivided attention to this entire event because I was setting up my brand new phone for 3 hours um, while this was
What
happening.
happened? What happened?
So I bought a 13 mini and
Yep.
very happy with it. But I also, with my family, this past, like at the exact same time, decided to switch cell service providers.
Oh, I see. To what? If you don't mind me
Um,
asking.
Xfinity Mobile, which is a subsidiary of Verizon.
Okay. Okay.
So I had
Okay.
T-Mobile before,
Yes, sir. You
but
you switch to Team Pancake to see it.
yeah,
It's all good.
yeah. Um, but yeah, I was trying to deal with them. I was like, hey, I know I said I was transferring my 8 and I did that and I put the SIM in there, but like I have this other phone I'm trying to register and I gotta put this new IMEI number in there. It's like going
Yep.
back and forth. It's like, okay, can I
Yep.
just and the worst thing, Kevin, I went to their website, I followed the process exactly to a
Right.
T. I
Yeah.
entered everything correctly. They're like, congrats, it's gonna work great. I hit continue, nothing fucking happens. I hit
Mm.
continue,
Mm.
nothing happens. I refresh the page, I
Mm.
restart this 3 times. I hit continue, they stop me there. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna have to contact somebody.
You know what is T-Mobile shit because I did get hacked due to them. That did happen.
I
It's
don't know.
T-Mobile shit.
I don't know.
Are they going downhill? Oh man, I do. Hey, I mean, I do get some nice 5G speeds on my 14 Pro.
Yeah,
It's
I
very
got I
nice.
got a
But,
free season at MLB TV. Too bad the Red Sox absolutely sucked this season. Anyway, uh, the
mm-mm-mm.
Ubisoft presentation. Did you watch any of this?
Yeah, it took me like 4 sittings, but I did get through the whole conference.
Okay. Is there anything you
Yeah.
want to shout out before the Assassin's Creed stuff? Because I care about the Assassin's Creed stuff, and they showed like Rayman is coming to Rabbids. That's cool. But
Yeah, that yeah, so I think Division Heartland, definitely want to see more of that. I'm a sucker for Division, big fan of that. So like a free to play, like really curious to see how that goes. Right, not saying that I'm gonna dedicate myself to this game for like a
mhm,
long period of time, but just to dip in and just see what's up, and maybe I pop in here and there.
mhm.
Um,
I liked two
I love,
from what I played of it.
yeah, I love the and Division 2 is way better than the first one. That's
Yeah,
facts. Yeah,
I
I just
was
really enjoyed Division.
I
Yeah.
was fully in on Destiny when Division One came out, and I was like, I'm not going to do that also. And then I was in like a rest period on Destiny Two. I think I actually played Division Two like the 2 weeks before the pandemic happened. So I was like, oh whoa,
Oof.
this is sick. And then I was like, oh god, I'm living this now. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
but so
Oh,
from my
good.
understanding with Heartland, it's sort of like leaning into the philosophies of the Dark Zone stuff, right? Where it's like a
I,
PvP focus.
yes. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the main gist of it. Yeah. Like I'm sure there's like a lore to it, and like maybe they're exploring that whole nature of it as well.
Hmm.
But yeah. It's apparently going to release. They're still saying 2022 or 2023, which I'm like, pick a year, fam. We're running out of time. Like,
Hmm.
okay. But yeah, definitely gonna check it out for sure. Definitely gonna check it out. And also a big thing from the Ubisoft showcase, I'm sure we'll get into the mobile Assassin's Creed and all that, right?
Hmm.
But damn, like, and this is probably a whole nother Gamescast topic, right? But like, do we as console and PC gamers, quote unquote real gamers, are we gonna have to let go of the biases perhaps and really just
Yeah,
embrace mobile gaming? Like is this the wave? You know what I'm saying? I know it's been the wave for other countries and everything, but
yeah.
like are we behind the curve?
We are, because like
Think about
statistically,
it. Think
like
about it.
the console PC gaming is the minority compared, like just purely off stats. I know like a lot of that like density location from all that data is like very heavily in Eastern countries, but like number wise, the larger percentage of gamers across the globe play on mobile. And
Yeah.
you look at some of those people and tell me they're not hardcore, they are, you know? So like it's definitely interesting. It's a merge of two different platforms. And honestly, mobile gaming today is very different from what it was when we like started out, when we were on our iPod touches playing Subway Surfer. It's different now, you know.
Jet Jetpack Joyride 2 just dropped too on
That's
Apple
cool.
Arcade. Yes,
That's very
sir.
cool.
Yes, sir. But yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Like it is becoming more sophisticated for sure.
Yeah.
And like, seeing that Division mobile game,
Hmm.
like looked, you know,
Yeah, and like
I don't know if I'll try it, but like it looks cool,
this
it's yeah.
this way more powerful than Avita even. Like there are
Hey,
games
hey,
on here.
hey, watch your mouth. Watch your mouth. All
Okay,
right.
you tell me I'm
Listen,
wrong.
man.
You tell me I'm wrong.
It's stronger than a Switch, stronger than a 3DS, stronger than,
Stronger
perhaps a
than
Steam
Avita.
Deck.
Even has
No,
an OLED
no, no,
screen.
no, 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 no.
Anyway,
Not
but yeah, you're right. You're right.
not Vita supremacy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I get your point.
Mhm. But like they showed that Avatar mobile game. That looked
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Parachuting down on Pandora, MMO.
Every day I'm, and yes, I have tried to contact Backbone for no reply, but I may have to just bite the bullet because I do want to have a backbone.
Hmm.
But the white one, of course, yeah. Um, but yeah, man, we'll see, But yeah, good stuff.
So
Rainbow Six Mobile as well.
sure.
You know what I'm saying? So in the chat, they're linking a video. I don't want to watch it while
Hmm.
we're streaming, but apparently Amy says that it's a single player game.
Okay.
Allegedly. Who
Okay.
knows?
We'll see when it has a title. You know.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm.
But let's talk about what the real pull at this Ubisoft event was. You and I are both Assassin's Creed fans. We are cut from different cloths of that franchise, but I think we were both fed at this event because was it 5 games got announced? Was it 4? Was it 4 and kind of 5 or maybe 6? Like there was a lot of Assassin's Creed at this presentation. Um,
I
speaking
I have, you know what? No, that's at the end. Go ahead. Go ahead.
so
Yeah, go ahead.
speaking of mobile, while we're talking about that, they announced they're doing a live action Assassin's Creed show. No mention of the Assassin's Creed anime with Netflix, which I was excited for. Is it dead? I don't know. I hope it's not. Um, that was announced, and they're also working on a mobile Netflix game partnership thing. Because we know Netflix is sort of really diving into that, as we talked about with Immortality earlier. But there's that was announced. There is the first open world Assassin's Creed mobile game releasing in the near future. I don't think they put a date on it. It is called Assassin's Creed Codename Jade, and it takes place in China, which is a bit on the nose. If you're making a mobile open world game set in China, it's like I wonder who they're trying to appeal towards. You know, like what's the target audience of that game? Do you have an idea, Kevin? I don't know.
I call it very intelligent, very smart. Personally, that's
Sure,
that's that's a you know that's a it's a big brain move there. You know what I'm saying?
sure.
They're smart over there. They're smart. They're smart over there. You know what I mean? There are a lot of things at Ubisoft, but sometimes they're smart. You
Which
know what I'm saying?
game seems cool. I
Uh,
again, I'll give it a shot. Um, my phone will be able to actually run it compared to what I was just on.
that's
But
what I'm saying, bro. We're gonna need some backbones, and we gotta just dive in head first. You know?
it's not one I see myself like getting super invested in. But I studied Chinese for like 6 or 7 years between high school and college.
What
So
the fuck? What did I not know about this? What the
really,
shit? You've never mentioned this once. What the fuck? You studied what?
I
Like
studied
what about like just China like in general?
the language and
Can you
uh,
speak Chinese, fam?
speak is a bit like I
Like,
can understand basic Chinese discussion.
can you ask like, can I use the bathroom perhaps?
Yeah, what was bathroom? What was oh god, I had to say this in like high school Chinese all the time. Um,
Wow, this is crazy. I did not know this about you. Wow,
I can
this
do an
is this is
introduction.
a
My tone
bet.
pronunciation is probably gonna be off because I haven't spoken it since the pandemic. But
Interesting.
你好，我叫是冰姐，我也喜
Oh shit.
欢
Yo.
是电脑游戏，我的朋友 Kevin 很可爱，谢谢。
Literally, what the fuck, bro? What the shit? I did
I'm
not.
surprised you
I'm,
never knew that. I swear I've talked to you like I came home from a class and been like, damn, dude, I just had Chinese.
bro. I don't know if I meant like. I don't know if I thought you meant like Chinese food, maybe. Like I don't know. I never even, bro. What the hell? I didn't know you were talking about dead ass Chinese. That's
No, yeah,
dope.
yeah,
That's cool. I have no talents like that. I can move my eyebrows independently.
like The Rock.
Does that help? Yeah, like that, like both ways. Most people can only do one. I've
You got any
encountered in
Samoan
life.
blood in your family?
Maybe I don't know. Maybe. Speaking of, there's some Chinese in my bloodline.
Oh,
It's
cool.
very out there. It's very faint, but it's out there. It's
Yeah,
out there. It's
this
cool.
is why I've always had such an interest in like Shang-Chi. When Immortals was like we're doing a Chinese expansion, I'm like, oh, that's a really cool mythology that they should explore. Why I'm so excited for Wo Long because it's like those. I rarely see those types of games explore Chinese mythology because I think it's so interesting. I studied it forever.
Did not know you were a Chinese scholar here in this bitch. That's crazy as fuck. What the hell? That's lit. That's
So I'm
so
excited for
crazy.
this game. Like it seems
Damn. Yeah.
cool.
Okay. Bet. Yeah.
But
Damn.
oh, you know what? I should play it with the Chinese VO because that'll
You
really
should.
try and get me like back into understanding it since it's just been so long. But
I've
anyway,
been on dual. I've been on dual lingo recently because my girlfriend's very much like, listen, you need to speak Spanish, and I'm like, okay, like
Did you?
I understand, I know,
Well,
I'm a really bad Dominican
mhm.
and a really bad Colombian. Like I gotta figure it out.
We will get back to Assassin's Creed in a second, but uh, speaking of Disney, have you ever heard of the? This is a strategy. I forget if I learned this like from one of my Chinese teachers or something. Because we did watch Mulan in Chinese and Kung Fu Panda in Chinese in high school. Like we did
Mm,
that with movies, but there's a practice that people can do to like very basically like start to understand another language in terms of like retention, where if you throw on a Disney movie because they're just like a Disney animated movie because they're just so like basic in terms of
right,
their themes, their plots, dialogue, and stuff like that, and in a different language while you are studying that language, you'll start to like pick up on more natural uses of that language. So like if you watched um, The Little Mermaid in a Spanish dub, it's like you probably know like elements of the Little Mermaid story. And if you're learning Spanish and you get to hear people native to that language speaking it in a story that is very universal, it's like a way to like subconsciously get more invested in it and like
right,
get used to
right.
it. And I remember
Good call.
that because I did hear that Diego Luna is voicing Cassian in the Spanish dub of Andor. So
Good shit. Good shit. Good shit. Shout out to him.
languages are
Yep.
cool, dude. Very, very cool.
Languages are cool. Languages are cool.
And that's part of why
Languages are
Assassin's Creed is cool because they commit. They commit to the language, they commit to the setting, they commit to history, and even mythology. Um, so yeah, those were the smaller Assassin's Creed drops. The big main course that spoke to me the most, Assassin's Creed Mirage. We talked about it last week. It leaked. They announced it. We've known about this game for a long time. It's coming in 2023. $50 because Ubisoft is embracing $70 for their AAA stuff now, and they're pricing this accordingly to how they view it compared to Valhalla, which if it came out today, it would be 70 in their eyes. Um, this trailer was purely cinematic. I'll say as a longtime Assassin's Creed fan that like saw that original cinematic and was like, "What is this?" Um, it has a lot of those motifs, a lot of references to like the Assassin's Creed 2 trailer specifically. They really hover on the removal of the ring finger, which was such a core part of the first few games of this franchise, and they have not touched on it since like 3, I think. Like it's been a minute, but that was such a big moment in all of those games. It's like, oh, you're in the Brotherhood now, cut the finger. So like the fact that they're like they showcase that in the trailer, a lot of visual allusions to the older games, and then in the interview after the fact where voice actor for Sean Hastings of I think he's been in all of them. Like you recognize that voice when you heard it, right? I think he was in Odyssey. Sean, the British guy with the glasses.
cool. Oh, the one that was live, like presenting it, right?
Mm-hmm.
He said he voiced the yeah, yeah. Um, he's not familiar. Like I don't know if I can
Yeah.
pinpoint from anything, but yeah,
So
yeah,
he was part of your crew, like the Desmond crew in the old games, and I
mm,
believe him and Rebecca are still involved with the Layla modern day stuff, like
yeah.
very minorly. Um, there was an interview portion after they showed the Mirage trailer where they were talking about returning to roots, uh, very focused on. I'm still trying to get the correct pronunciation as like a.
I heard both ways
Sorry,
on
I
stream
know
too.
that's what confused
I
me.
heard Bassam and Basim. I'm
And
gonna go
I
with
also
Bassam.
heard Basim. I heard that too. I heard 3 different ways that that name is
You're saying
pronounced.
Basim? Oh shit.
I
I'm gonna go
think
with Bassam until proven wrong.
okay.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. That's me though. I mean, hey, we got three options to choose from. Why not?
yeah.
Fuck it.
So Basim is the main character. Incredible cinematic. As a longtime fan of these like cinematic trailer reveals, didn't show gameplay, but whatever they were talking about of the direction and focus of the game, very much feels in line with the older series. And they very much focused on this in talking about celebrating 15 and looking back to the original. So this is the game I've waited for a long time, and I enjoy Odyssey a lot, but this feels like I'm getting an Assassin's Creed game like proper for the first time in a long time. So Very, very excited about this one. And you've yet to dive in. We've talked about this a lot on the show to the classic style. Does this interest you from the premise, the cinematic, the way they're talking about this game at all? Like, do you see yourself trying this maybe?
Mainly it's just Bassam, honestly. Like I want because like I really liked him in Valhalla. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm eager to see like where he goes after Valhalla and everything and all that. So that's kind of my main draw. But I'm open to it. But like I can't lie and sit here and like as of today, September 14th, 2022, like I'm gonna play Mirage, sure, right? But like I'm much more intrigued by Codename Red.
Sure.
Like that definitely is more like, oh hell yeah. But that's just because like I know that side of AC, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know this side at all. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's really the only reason, at least on my standpoint, And
Mm-hmm.
like I think it's cool, and like I hope they kind of keep up this like,
Me too.
we can all be happy, right, guys?
Yeah.
That's fine.
I hope, and I genuinely believe because I think this game's gonna do very well, like critically and financially, because Assassin's Creed sales wise has just been on like an upward trend forever, since they sort of rebooted with Origins. Um, and we've had this discussion before of like, is there going to be a backlash to the smaller scale for the people that came in for the big RPGs? But I think it's going to sell well, maybe not as well as Valhalla, but I do think critically it will probably review very well. And that's not to say that the RPGs don't, because they usually hover in the eights, right?
Yeah.
The
The only
aggregate.
complaint is that they're bloated. That's literally the only thing. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? At least, I mean, like I'm sure people have problems with this is not whatever, and like
Hmm.
the combat's not the most like in depth combat in gaming. Like everyone fucking knows that shit.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So I think this is going to do very well, and I hope like Zelda style, they just start having the two branches, which you talked about. So like, well,
yeah.
wait and see. But I'm very excited for this. This is a day one for me, unless there's some trash fire that happens. But
And I'm sorry, I misspoke. Mirage is before Valhalla. Sorry, my bad. I
sure.
meant what? Sorry, yeah, my
Yes,
bad.
because this is showing the
Yeah,
origins of Basim becoming a hidden one, beginning his
yeah,
oath of the Brotherhood and the Creed, and showing his training and all that stuff. So pretty cool.
yeah. So it's 20 years before. So
Yeah.
curious if like the game ends up like right at Valhalla's doorsteps and all that. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So
And
that's cool. That's cool. That's cool.
I do want to point out, I forget who said this, but after that stream, there were interviews with Ubisoft higher ups that were saying like there's absolutely room for more like 15 to 20 hour Assassin's Creed stories in the future. So I'm happy. But you brought up a game called Codename Red. There's three codenames that got announced. Codename Jade we already talked about. Codename Red is the next AAA $70 RPG Assassin's Creed game. It is coming from the Odyssey team,
Yes.
and
Yes, sir.
it is Codename Red. It is Assassin's Creed Feudal Japan after hell. What's the anniversary? 15. After 15 years, they're finally doing Feudal Japan because people have been asking for that since the series started. You expressed interest in this. It's a brief tease.
Hmm.
Don't really know when it's
And
coming. So
yeah, and
go ahead.
to be clear, like they didn't show any gameplay for any of these titles, So there is that to be said, right? Like
Hmm.
when I say like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it, it
Hmm.
could be bad.
Yeah.
It could definitely be bad, right? And like I definitely do want to save verdict for when I see gameplay and then full verdict when I play it, right? But I do like the premise and the promise of like what could be, a feudal Japan Assassin's Creed in a massive world
Hmm.
like Odyssey and Valhalla. You know what I'm saying? Like that like definitely does entice me, and like it definitely does like, oh, like that's gonna be dope. You know what I'm saying? Like we'll see. And like I think their biggest hurdle is gonna be, hey, like we just got a state of play yesterday that had a ton of other samurai games.
Hmm.
We have Ghosts on the Horizon that outdid what Assassin's Creed should have done years ago. You know what I'm saying? So there is definitely more competition here, but like I still think people are gonna be, pleased with an Assassin's Creed in Japan, right? And like see how that goes and everything, because
Hmm.
very much into that. Very much into that.
Yes.
Very much into that.
So on
What's that?
their roadmap, Codename Red was like on the horizon. It said this year we're getting like the final chapter of Valhalla, which you're not caught
Mm.
up on that stuff, right? Like you didn't mess with the
I,
Ragnarok DLC.
Yeah, I mean, I want to, but like,
It's a lot. I know it's a lot.
that's a lot. That's a fucking lot. That's a
Yeah.
lot. That's a lot. I would definitely like to though, for sure.
Mhm.
But like, yeah.
So they had that for this year. Next year's Mirage, and then on the horizon was the mobile game, the Netflix stuff, codename Red, and then codename Hexe is how they pronounced it. It is
Uh,
Hexe. It is being developed by Montreal, who is the like original Assassin's Creed team, and it is being led by the lead producer of Far Cry 2 and most recently Watch Dogs Legion. Um, and it seems like it's going to be very weird. It's leaning into sort of like Blair Witchy, maybe Celtic pagan horror elements, which is very interesting. But they didn't really give more details on that outside of both these code names, Red and Hexe, are going to be part of codename Infinity, which feels like it's just a launcher with like a PlayStation Home style hub to walk through. Kind of. Like that seems like what they're kind of pitching it as.
it's like, isn't it supposed to tell and have a bit more of an emphasis on the modern day
Yeah.
storyline and like, yeah. So that's what the yeah. I feel like they're talking about it vaguely,
Mm-hmm.
right? Maybe they're still trying to figure it out, I guess. But like, also, it's like, yeah, it definitely wasn't the clearest thing in the world how they
Yes.
described it,
Because they also said that they're going to bring older games onto that Infinity thing. So do you walk through the office cubicle at the Animus to walk into Greece and play Odyssey? Do you leave that and talk to somebody about the Isu artifact that was in that game and then do a little puzzle at your desk and then walk over to the red
Which
cubicle?
hey, I don't hate it.
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
Yeah.
Like we do have a COD event next.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, tomorrow, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the rumors are like they are like having some sort of hub based type thing as well. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That like is the quote unquote home for COD where you'll be able to launch a bunch of different games, right? Obviously, there's going to be no like narrative linear ties as close as Assassin's Creed, right? From
Yeah.
that standpoint, but like, I think what this could be is really cool,
Mm-hmm.
at least on paper, but it could really just end up being just a launcher, right? And like that's just like like it is what it is, and then like
Mm-hmm.
that will really question like what was the point of it, But
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. We'll see.
Which is interesting because Assassin's Creed 4 kind of like narratively made that built up. I think I might have talked about this last week where like it was the first game after Desmond in the modern day. You were an employee at Abstergo. It's like, hey, your job is to capture footage for like cinematic experiences of this pirate story. And one of your coworkers is doing Japan and all that stuff. And it's like literally an office building floor where everybody has their own assignments in the Animus for different time periods. So like they've danced around that before. If they actually commit to that being like a more universal thing, interesting. But they, like you said, haven't really detailed it much. And within that, they also talked about they're working on bringing back a standalone release of Assassin's Creed multiplayer, which was rumored to be called Project or codename Invictus. Um, that came out after the fact, but yeah, Assassin's Creed multiplayer was really cool. Bringing it back is a great idea. So
Yeah,
that's the Ubisoft event.
yeah. What I did want to lead off with, right, is like I have a similar feeling with Assassin's Creed that like I know these are very different things, right? Games and movies and TVs are very different things, right? But like the way like Sony has confirmed a bunch of different shows and movies, right? Without really seeing like what the temperature is like on there, right? And like what I would have liked to have seen them do is like, hey, just let's focus on this.
Mm-hmm.
If it does well, focus on the next one. Maybe expand a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Just have like a more gradual growth based off of true metrics that hey, like this is a successful thing that we are good at. This seems like a lot. A fucking lot.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I'm just having a similar think of that, right?
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at. Where like that I want to at least put that out there. That's like, hey, like
Yeah.
this is kind of a lot. They dedicate like literally what like the last third of it to just this IP,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Which makes
And
sense. Like
like
it's their biggest IP. To be fair, you know.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it just felt kind of weird to have like all these fucking code names and like we didn't see
Yeah.
any tangible thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're just throwing shit at the wall. It seems like
Mm-hmm.
that's and that's not me saying that all these are gonna be bad or like that. I don't want them to be bad, right? But like it just felt weird seeing 10, 15, 30-second things of like, oh, here's the Assassin's Creed logo in like this different vein, right?
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
it's just like
Yeah, I get you. Like
that's cool, but like why even do this?
I th-
Why not just focus on Mirage and then if anything codename Red?
yeah, it's funny because I look at it similar to the way I look at some of those like MCU slate announcements where it's like you're not gonna see this thing for 4 years. Here's a logo.
Yeah, yeah,
Like that's what it
yeah,
was.
yeah. I guess, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
'cause especially if you think of like, okay, if next year's Mirage, I doubt considering Mirage started as a small scale DLC. I don't see a world where they support Mirage as long as they do these other RPG games because if it's a stealth based single player story game, like you're not gonna like what else can you do besides like make a sequel, or like a really meaty
Right,
expansion, which like why waste resources on that? That's not what that audience wants for that game. Uh, so hypothetically, if Red hits 2024,
right.
how long do they support Valhalla? This is going on 2 years, 2 full years.
Yeah.
Is it going to be 2026 before we see Hexe? Like, is that the plan?
I
Like,
don't know.
it's
Like
definitely
it
odd,
just
you know.
yeah, and then like yeah, they say 2024, but like let's keep it a buck 50. Come on, man. You know,
Yeah,
like this is games we're talking about here. Like
hmm,
years don't matter.
sure.
Release dates after 6 months do not fucking matter
Hmm.
because it's probably not gonna hit.
Hmm.
You know, even when you have release dates that are a year out,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
I get pushed a whole another year. Like it is what it is.
So that was the Ubisoft event. Uh, Nintendo held their direct. They haven't done a general direct, I think, for like a year as of this month. So this was their re exposure to the direct format. A couple highlights. Let off with a new Fire Emblem. I love Fire Emblem. I think Three Houses might be my favorite Switch game. Big fan of this IP. Um, it's called Fire Emblem Engage. It is being developed wholly by Intelligent Systems, who is like the core Fire Emblem team. They didn't really do much of Three Houses. That was mostly Koei Tecmo as a support studio, stepping up to like lead development of that game. And IS kind of just like, yeah, that's good, that's good. This is their return to the IP. It was leaked. It was rumored for a while. I was a little worried about the premise, but seeing the trailer in practice, visually, I think it looks really good. Especially for a Switch game. And the setup is like there's this kingdom that was fighting this dragon a long time ago, and they were super weak. So they were like, oh, we have to call to the emblems, which are legendary warriors. As a player perspective, it's like, oh, these are the lords from the other Fire Emblem games, like Marth, uh, Celica is in that trailer. A couple of like Sigurd, I don't know what game he's from, but they called to them, and then thousands of years later, this dragon threat is coming back, and you're playing as a new cast of characters, your new unit group, and you also, I guess, suck. So you have to use these rings to summon back the lords who helped this kingdom before. So I was worried because the rumor was like old lords coming back, and I was like, I know multiverse stuff is the popular thing right now, but like one of my favorite things about a Fire Emblem game is settling in, getting to know this cast, know their goals, their problems, their feelings towards each other, and seeing that go through a thing. And hearing that it's a bunch of fan service in the rumor was like, are we even gonna have a new cast? Are they gonna be developed well? And from the way, like, given context, most of those worries are gone because they're essentially acting as summons, just narratively worked into the story rather than I think in previous games you could just like get them as DLC to like run extra missions with. But um, yeah, it comes out in January. Very excited for this. I've been waiting for the next Fire Emblem game for a while, and just seeing it as the highlight to kick off that show made me very happy. This is probably going to be one of my favorite games next year. So um, that's Fire Emblem Engage. I know you have zero history with the franchise, but very happy about that. A couple other highlights. We got a new That was one first party Nintendo game that got completely blown out, revealed, brand new. Got updates on a bunch of stuff like Bayonetta 3, um, some ports of some classic RPGs, like Tales of Symphonia and the original Harvest Moon. Um, Harvest Moon's actually getting a remake, is how they're presenting that. But midway through the show, Shigeru Miyamoto shows up. I'm trying to scrub through this direct. It's really not labeled well on YouTube. Um, Shigeru Miyamoto shows up and is like, "Hey, I want to talk to you about some things." Talks about Universal Super Nintendo Land. Talks about the Mario movie coming out soon. And then he's like, "Now I want to talk about Pikmin." And then he talks about the mobile game that's been out for like a year for like 8 minutes. Not that long, but like he spends too much time on that thing. And
That
then
my girlfriend
mhm,
loves.
mhm,
Adore, obsessed, crack obsessed. Loves
yeah,
that game.
people
She
love
was very
Pikmin.
excited. She was
People
very
love
excited for
it.
this news. She
Hmm.
was very excited. She was very excited.
Yeah, I've only played the demo of Pikmin 3, but like it's a very cool setup for a game, and I am at least gonna play through the first game before 4 comes out because they announced 4. And if listeners remember, I believe they also announced 4 in like 2015. Like Miyamoto, I think mid Wii U, like tail end of Wii U, was like, "Hey, Pikmin 4, it is almost done." And
Fire.
then years and years go by, and people are like, "What happened to it being almost done? Where is it? Does it exist? Did you cancel it?" And now it's here. It's coming out next year. Very very brief showing. There's a rumbling of speculation, especially when I talk about Zelda, that the minimal showing of Zelda and Pikmin, the two big first party games for next year, was minimal for a reason. Um, that's mainly speculation, but that was shown off. Pikmin 4 very very briefly. Octopath Traveler 2 is getting, or Octopath Traveler 2 got announced. Octopath is getting a sequel. Um, never
That's
played.
weird because it's not coming out on Xbox number one, but the first one's not on PlayStation, and PlayStation getting the second one.
Yeah, which is strange.
Very weird. Very odd. Very, very weird. Weird behavior.
Yes, from my understanding though, Octopath Traveler is now a franchise that is like Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy, where none of them have anything to do with each other. So you're not really missing out by not playing the first one, from what I know. Uh, it's a wholly new cast, same setup. You got 8 characters. They're going to go on their individual journeys. They're going to cross over at some point, which is something the first game didn't do. And they're talking about this one being like, yeah, the characters will have like moments and unification and things will tie together, which was the main critique with the first game and what kept me from playing it. So hearing that they're doing that makes me intrigued. The cast of characters also, I think, looks much more interesting. Like there's a merchant, there's a scholar that wants revenge who was like really really dark. Seems interesting, and it's of course in the HD 2D art style that Square's been doing lately. So, like you said, coming to PlayStation and Switch in February of next year. And quickly, oh, we got a shout out. This is for you, Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core Reunion. Got a date at this direct, December 13th. Did you expect it to hit this year? I know they said winter, but we were a little.
Absolutely fucking not. Absolutely fucking not. I didn't. So
You're playing this
I'm
at launch,
happy to be
right?
wrong. Absolutely. What? Come, Christian. Come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
Make it. Come on, man. Come on. Absolutely, I'm in this shit. Absolutely, cannot wait. You know what I'm saying? It was great on PSP, but oof, man,
Mm-hmm.
oof. Play that shit again. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's, I think, my favorite thing from this direct. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Honestly, the only real tangible thing that like really spoke to me, if I'm being real.
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
Yeah. There.
Besides
Go.
besides the Final Fantasy theater rhythm,
Yeah, that's
that
cool.
looked intriguing.
Yeah,
Not sure if I'm gonna pick it up, but like that intriguing for sure.
I
For
played the
sure.
Kingdom Hearts one earlier this year and absolutely loved it. So probably worth picking up on a sale, but like it's a good time,
Yeah.
especially if you like the music of those games. Um, What were the other highlights I had written down? We have a bunch of updates for things. Switch Online is getting Mario Party 1, 2, 3 with online. That's super exciting. Also, uh, Russia be damned. They're releasing GoldenEye. They announced it. The worst kept secret of the year. It's coming back. Online only available on the Switch service because of their infrastructure. They have it built in that every N64 game provides an online version of it. Xbox is not getting online. They are getting achievements and I think 4K. Um, and also they're getting if you bought Rare Replay and you don't have Game Pass, it's just a free update to Rare Replay. You get GoldenEye for free, which is neat. But
What's so the reasoning is that I don't think that reasoning
what
sounds
reason?
concrete, right? That there's no multiplayer for the Xbox version of it.
So I don't know
Like
the
how does
reasoning why there's no multiplayer for Xbox, but the reason that there is online for Switch is because from the jump, they built the N64 app to retroactively allow online play for all of those games. So like it doesn't even have to be done. That was like a back end thing they took care of a while ago.
okay, okay, I see.
And
Okay,
like
okay.
for
So
me, that was
okay,
one of the main exciting reasons when they announced the N64 thing because they built that into the Super Nintendo app and NES as well, where it's like these games that you formerly had to play couch co-op can now be played online because they've like whatever system they have built in allows for that. Um, so like they did the work years ago is the point, and I imagine putting that in today
that's
on its own was probably extra work, and I guess maybe they just didn't see it as worth it on the Xbox side.
still.
It's weird. It's
I
baffling choice.
I hope they're fucking mad because like
Mhm.
that's a horseshit excuse. Like that's a horseshit fucking figure it out, do
Yeah.
it. What do you mean there's no online play? Like what? Like nah.
Mhm.
That's. I hope people are mad. I
Oh,
hope
they
Ho's
are. They
mad.
absolutely are.
I
Yeah.
hope. Okay, good.
Hmm.
Speak up, motherfuckers. Shit, what the hell? That's a BS excuse, yo. God damn, that shit's crazy.
Yeah.
Nah,
I
I would
know.
definitely figure it the fuck out.
At least with the, I know with the Nintendo service, that's the only way I think you'll be able to play with the N64 controller, like how it was played originally, because of
Right.
their
I mean
adapter.
that.
I think so. Like that's
Yeah.
just another
That.
thing as well. But like, yeah, the
I mean,
Xbox
like.
version does have dual analog support as well. Like they
Right.
remapped controls, they reworked it out, so normal controller
Yeah.
works.
Nah. Like, I mean, the play on the classic controller, like I. That's clearly going to be only a Nintendo thing. That
Yeah.
that makes perfect sense. Yeah, but
Hmm.
online, I don't know.
Yes.
But so like, what you're saying is that like online wasn't necessarily a part of this new release of GoldenEye. It just so happens that because of the N64 app,
Hmm.
it supports it. Thus, that's okay. Okay, so
Yes.
it's not okay. So I guess yeah, I guess that's way of looking at it. But still,
Yeah. Because
yeah,
every single game, like Mario Party 1, 2, 3, I'm going to be able to play those with my college roommate from my own room whenever they get added. So, like,
right.
that was no extra work on Nintendo's part. There, I think Nerd is their company, NERD. They are the ones who built these apps. Like, that's their job. They just build these apps. And that was a core element of them. Um, and then lastly, they closed the direct with Breath of the Wild 2, got his name reveal, got a brief new trailer showcasing a few more mechanics, new Sheikah powers, a like glide surfer that you're gonna be able to do some cool things with in the full game, and story implications that are pretty nuts. And the title being The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, releasing May 12th, 2023. Um, yeah, I'm stoked for this. Do you have any questions? I guess because I know you're not a
No,
Breath of the Wild fan.
nah, not really, not really. Yeah, no, it is what it is. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it'd be cool to like see the game itself,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, I don't know. I know with Nintendo, so sometimes I ask too much. I know. I ask too much of them, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So they, if
Well,
y'all happy, then y'all happy. It's cool. It's cool. Go
so
ahead. Have
I
fun.
I think
Have
part
fun.
of it is it's like they're showing like a lot of like implications for things that are like people have like fully predicted where this is going at this point, and it's nuts. But mechanically, at least, there's a speculation going around now that because they did not show much here, and that is their first non like Fire Emblem is like January, so like their first Q1 or their first financial fiscal year game launching for the next fiscal year is this, and then Pikmin after that. Uh, Switch Pro discourse is back because the speculation is that January or February announced the new hardware. It's coming out in May alongside Zelda, and you're not cannibalizing holiday sales. Your other major game is shipping in January with Fire Emblem, and they didn't say that like new hardware is not coming this year or like this fiscal year, but I don't know. It feels like it's time. So I've thought if depending on when Zelda was going to release for a while, they would pair it with new hardware. So the fact that it's not March makes me think that some of that speculation might pan out. But
Yeah, yeah. So overall, we had both our teams go with certain conferences this week, right? So my score doesn't matter. I'm not a Nintendo guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. This shit was um, this show, excuse me, this show, not particularly for me. Few hits here and there. You know what I'm saying? But overall, kind of. But
there were a lot of farm games. I'm not denying that. There were a lot of farming
yeah,
games and a lot of Square Enix farming games.
yeah. I like, to me, this seemed bloated. A lot of just, to be as kind as possible. But we all know what I'm trying to say here. Like, very like irrelevant games that are just here just to be here, right? Which, hey, shout out to them, shout out to the game themselves. But if we keep it at $150, you know,
It's
I don't think anyone's looking out for Farm Fest 4 or whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's funny because like similar to what you
and
were,
they mask. Sorry, go ahead. No, go
I
ahead.
was gonna say what you were talking about with PlayStation. The like this is a lot of TGS prep because they usually do a
Yeah.
pre TGS show and this was the one. And the farming games sell really well, but it's like, do you need to show all of these in a presentation? I completely understand that. Um, the I forgot what I was gonna say, but
I was gonna say, yo, they massacred my boy Sifu. How could they do this?
yeah,
How could they show it like this, man?
looks way worse.
Oh my
I'm
god.
surprised that it's leaving PlayStation so soon. Was my main thing.
I mean, no, I guess not really. I guess it kind of is surprising, but like,
That was like what within
a few months, yeah.
almost 6 months, 7 months, yeah.
Yeah.
But there was also State of Play, which
Wait, no, wait. What grade would you give the direct? That's what I was
oh
trying to get at.
I mean, I'm a big fan of JRPGs and Nintendo JRPGs. Fire Emblem was my dream game to see here, and I'm excited Zelda has a date, which I think it will hit, because that thing got delayed 3 times already, and that I would be very surprised if it gets delayed again. Um, Maybe like B plus A minus.
All right. Okay. I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah.
A minus.
Dude, I was waiting for Fire
I
Emblem
feel you.
for
No, no, I
years.
feel you. I feel
Yeah.
you. But like, out of the whole 40 minutes, like, that's gonna bring it up to an A minus.
Well, I think the way I'm looking
When
at
you
it
look at it from
is
like a whole show, like,
yeah, the way I'm looking at it is as far as like first party stuff, I think there was a lot there that spoke to me. I know like a lot of it was not for a lot of people because of there's a large portion of the Nintendo community that completely hates Fire Emblem because it's not just like a jumpy game. Like that's it. And like genuinely, I think Three Houses is a better RPG than Persona 5. And I will fight for that.
I
But
feel like that might be a hot take.
it
Can you
is.
tweet that?
I
Can
will.
you
I
tweet
will.
that?
I will. I will.
Okay, I'm just curious to see. No, like, I'm not. I wasn't saying tweet it. I was saying, like, is that something that like you would tweet?
Oh, people would
with, like,
at
a
me
clean
about that.
conscience? Yeah,
For
interesting.
sure.
Okay, now I kind of want to see it, but like, I don't want to put you in harm's way.
I will.
You know what
I
I'm
was
saying?
planning on
I
it at
don't
some
wanna put you in
point. I
harm's
want
way.
to do a replay just because I want to see another path because there's like 6 different endings to that game. But yeah, it was paced out. They had the beginning of the show, Fire Emblem, middle of the show was Pikmin, which is a game that disappeared forever, and then end of the show was Zelda getting a date, and it's a pretty soon. It's within a year. And then DLC updates for stuff that I care about, like Strikers Um, the next booster course looks cool. Switch Sports is finally getting its stuff. Octopath looks really cool to me. Um, the Tales of Symphonia port is interesting because I've heard a lot of good things about that game and I'm eyeing it. And then the N64 stuff, those are the games I've been waiting for to hit N64 since they announced the app, besides Donkey Kong. So yeah, I thought like that was peppered out well. There were lulls for sure, but I think most shows still have lulls. So we left the show with two new first party Nintendo games and an update on one of the most anticipated games they've done. So I thought it was solid.
I feel you. I respect it.
Mm-hmm.
Like uh, I respect it mostly. It's cool. It's cool. Shout out to you.
And that's the thing that I feel like is getting lost on some of like the hardcore Nintendo fans that were really upset about this. Like part of Nintendo's identity at this point is JRPGs. Like that's one of the things that sells guaranteed on the Switch. So like Xenoblade getting an update, a new Fire Emblem, Octopath, which is following up a former exclusive. Like I think showcasing those things are important, especially considering what this show was aimed for as a TGS prep. So I get not liking it absolutely, but I do think it was pleasing to a very particular Nintendo crowd, and there were still general Nintendo things that were cool about it. So
Yeah, no, like I'm not saying anything because
mm-hmm.
my opinion does not matter on
Well,
this
it doesn't matter. I mean,
particular
I
episode.
I think it was like
My,
slow at
I
times,
don't.
but I do think it had good highs. Is my point. So, and they were spaced out well enough. So, for the state of play, I look at it in a similar way. Honestly, I think there were some really cool elements, but
I agree.
I'd also just to jump ahead of it. I think I gave it a B plus after I watched it, like B
Yeah,
plus A minus
yeah.
territory, um, where it was elevated by like three things, and the rest of it I was like, why? What is this? Why does this matter to you, PlayStation? You know, um, the things I pulled that were interesting were they led with Tekken 8, which is cool. I've never played a Tekken game. It's one of the few fighting games I have zero experience with. Um, cool trailer. Like a Dragon Ishin is a Yakuza Kiwami style remake of a formerly Japan exclusive Yakuza spinoff, which I've only dabbled in the Yakuza franchise, but that's a cool get. Um, Rise of the Ronin, new Team Ninja game, which looks like it's mixing sort of Assassin's Creed with Sekiro, I guess, more than Assassin's Creed with Ghost, which is like already Ghost, you know? Dated 2024, which was surprising. Um, and then closing with the Ragnarok trailer, which I thought like completely elevated, saved the purpose of that presentation to me. The other stuff like seemed all right. Was there anything that stood out to you more that I didn't bring up?
Yeah, so the Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge and its edition, this is a pure bias thing, right? Big Star Wars fan. That's gonna at least somewhat intrigue me, right?
Mm-hmm.
For PSVR 2. That was cool to see and everything. Um yeah, Demio was a like tabletop thing. I think that's out already. Same thing with Star Wars on
Yeah, Star Wars
Oculus
has
as
been out
well.
for a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But Demio is like a tabletop thing. Wasn't really my jam, but I think it's on paper like, hey, like to play D&D over VR. Like, I'm sure people would enjoy that to a degree. You know what I'm saying? Hogwarts Legacy, that was there for a little bit. Just showed off the exclusive quest that is coming to PlayStation only for PS4 and PS5. That was that. Nothing really new there. Still have like somewhat of an interest on playing it, but we'll see. My favorite new thing, which I'm shocked you didn't even mention this. I'm kind of taken aback, Christian.
Hmm.
Pacific Drive, bro. What did we? Come on now.
Really?
What the fuck you mean, bro? Do you know what the premise of this game is? Can I please read you it, bro? Can
Sure.
I read
Please
you
do.
it?
Please do.
Can I read you it? Okay. Let me find it. Right here. Here we go. Okay. In 1955, the United States government seized a region of the Pacific Northwest by eminent domain. The Olympic Peninsula became the staging ground for promising new technologies, but these utopian creations came out at a great cost. Severe radiation, environmental collapse, and supernatural horrors. The government walled off the area and established the Olympic Exclusion Zone. what happened inside was never disclosed. All right. So you find yourself trapped in the zone, having only a barely running station wagon and the tools necessary to hopefully plot your escape. Right. And this is being described as a road. Again, we can make fun of this naming scheme, whatever. They're trying to be QT whatsoever, right? Road light run based first person shooter, not shooter, first person driving survival game. I have never heard of anything like this, and this is definitely was my favorite like new. I mean, hey, if I'm wrong, let me know, please implore me. But
I
I've never heard of like a driving survival game that was run based, and I think this looked and showed presentationally like really great. I love the premise of it. Seems like it's gonna be like dark and like just very cool vibe, very cool 55s era as well. Like I don't know how you were not impressed by this whatsoever. Like this was definitely my favorite new game that was shown, 100%, far and away. Very
so
much into this, very much into that. Yes, sir.
it reminded me because there was a roguelike road trip driving game with a cel shaded art style sometime during the past 2 years, I think, that was like it wasn't survival based, but it was more narrative based. Like it was first person. It was like you can meet different people, you have your own story. It's like a driving based roguelike first person like this. Um I was thinking of that the whole time. I forget what it's called. Premise, yeah, it's cool, like embracing more like the X Files stuff, but like true, like watching it truthfully, I had no idea what kind of game it was. I'm like, what is this?
Are you didn't see the driving? How there's obstacles and there's
I mean,
like
sure,
like
but most
there's like
driving
ground
games have
spikes coming out.
obstacles.
Like no, but like the actual like landscape. You need to go back and look at this shit
I'm
because like
watching it
the
right
actual
now. I'm watching it
landscape
right now.
was like changing and you're having to drift around and shit like that. Like that sounds fucking dope. And you're always meeting back at like a central like mechanic hub type thing to make upgrades to your vehicle and all that. So that's where like the roguelike nature of it comes in. Maybe it's my background in Need for Speed that and like I've always thought of like okay, like how do you make like a driving game more than just racing, because I drive every day. I actually enjoy driving. Like I like the act of driving and operating a vehicle. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not a car guy. I'm not like under the hood, but I enjoy the mechanics of driving, right? Like very much so. So to be put in this premise and to have it be more of like a roguelike type of standpoint and you're doing upgrades and you're trying to escape this area that was walled up by the US government, like that sounds dope as fuck. Like I'm really I thought we'd be one-on-one here. I'm actually pretty shocked. Yeah, no, but like I'm
Yeah.
definitely looking forward to this. I really hope this one comes out. Like this is quickly amongst the top 5 most anticipated games I'm looking for. Like 100%. Like this joint, I definitely need. I was extremely impressed by this. Extremely impressed. If Ragnarok wasn't here, this would have been my game of the entire state of play easily, easily,
Interesting.
easily. You know what I'm saying? But we do have some other cool stuff too. I actually did like the showing of Sin Duality.
Yeah, it was the
That's
mech
also a
game,
band.
right?
Yep, by Bandai Namco. It's a where is my notes on that?
It looks
Here
like
we
a
go. Yeah,
survivally type thing. Like you're open in an open world, like popping in and out of a mech, collecting things,
yeah,
surviving, scavenging.
yeah. So yeah, it's set in the year 2222. You are piloting what they are calling a cradle coffin, which is their mechs. You just call it
Maybe
mechs,
you
right?
don't get out of the mech then. Maybe you're born in it and you die in it. Is that the premise?
Who knows, man? Who knows? Who knows? You die by the cradle, live by the cradle, But you're in search of these AO crystals. You have an AI that will help you as well and stuff like that throughout. And there are regular NPC enemies known as Enders who will be trying to guard you from these AO crystals. But there's also going to be other players with their mechs that will be also after these same resources. So it's a bit of a PvPvE type style of game and everything. So
Okay.
from that standpoint, I hope that there's still like a narrative that is intriguing while there are still, other players in your world, right? Like also trying to progress their stories and all that. But yeah, no, I thought this also looked really cool. You know what I'm saying? Like I thought the gameplay looked great as well from that standpoint too. And then yeah, then I think the last game besides Ragnarok that really caught my attention was Stellar Blade, previously Project Eve. This is definitely looking like a Bayonetta type of style thing. I just thought it looked very flashy, very cool, very fast paced combat. Looked very much up my alley for sure. And yeah, so they're like on a quest to reclaim Earth. The main character's name is Eve, and they find someone on Earth named Adam. So I'm like, okay, okay, all right, okay, all right.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So there is that, but like overall, like they talk a lot in the readout about you know unique skills and combos and beta skills and burst skills, shit like that, right? But yeah, I thought that also caught my attention too, for sure. Oh, both of those games are the Synduality and Stellar Blade, formerly known as Project Eve, were announced as second party. Yeah. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. No,
I thought
not.
that was Rise of the Ronin's the Blade
Yeah,
game.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, not sorry. Yeah, not Synduality. Yeah, it's Rise of the Ronin and Stellar Blade are more like second party um
Hmm.
games that we'll see in the future. But Rise of the Ronin, like, yeah, that definitely looked cool. You know what I'm saying?
That was
I
my
really want
standout.
to.
Like removing Ragnarok, that was
Yeah,
my
it looked cool.
highlight.
It
But uh,
definitely, yeah, it definitely looked cool for sure. For
I'll
sure.
say
Yeah.
that's also Team Ninja, and another team at Team Ninja currently is working on Wolong, which is the Chinese Three
Right.
Kingdoms game. Much more interested in that because that's leaning into fantasy and is also the Bloodborne producer. But I do think Rise of the Ronin looks really cool. Um,
Yeah.
if Ragnarok wasn't here, that would be my pull from the show, in terms of like show stealer. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And then we of course end off with, oh man, and you I think you put it in the group chat. I was driving my car, right?
hmm,
Yeah, you know what? I probably shouldn't say this,
I'll say it.
but
I'll
yeah, I
say it.
was no. Like I did have my phone to the side
Hmm.
while I was driving, you know what I'm saying? I was still 10 and 2 on that steering wheel. Fret not, ladies and gentlemen, you know what I'm saying? Very, very important. But I was more so hearing the state of play, right? Um if the last thing was the fucking dual sense, I was gonna crash my fucking car. I was gonna flip that hoe for real. Yo,
I
I would
truthfully
have been so mad. Oh my god! Thank God they didn't do that, man. God damn
I
it, man.
really thought they
Oof.
were. I really truthfully thought they were
Oh,
because
I
after
would
they
have.
show the controller, they cut to black and it hangs there for a second.
They knew what they was doing. They
Yeah.
they knew what they was doing. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But like, listen, you can't pay. Listen, you can't pay like that. Please don't. Please stop. Okay. Controller looks cool. I'm not gonna get it because I'm looking for the DualSense Edge personally. I want that to be my like main controller overall.
I'll buy the
But
Spider-Man one whenever it comes out.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, for sure. So shout out the Ragnarok DualSense. It is a nice blue. I can't lie. It is a very nice blue. I like it more than my blue controller now, even though I do love my blue controller now. But like that's a nice dark tone blue. Definitely enjoy that.
mhm.
Also, okay, before we get to Ragnarok, right? Let me just say something. The DualSense announcement and the PlayStation Stars update. Granted, those were very quick things. I do feel like those brought down the conference, and I do not.
Yeah,
I would not have wanted them here personally.
yeah.
Like, I thought that those were out of place personally.
Stars was a
I
full
will.
minute, and it's like it's a minute only, but it was a 20-minute show. So like
Yeah. So we're looking at what, like 5%, right, of that math, maybe something like
maybe
that.
10. I don't know. I don't know how math works.
10%. Yeah,
Math with
something like
time,
that.
that's a tricky thing, you know.
Yeah, and like DualSense was like a 39-second trailer. You know what I'm saying? So I'm talking about a minute 30 out of the 20, but definitely felt out of place. The PlayStation Stars thing could have easily just been a blog post. The DualSense, at least I get it because you're trying to market something off it, and same with the Stars things. But just those things, I did dock points for that just because I felt like those weren't the best things to have at a showcase like this, right? I mean,
Hmm.
at a state of play like this, right? But that's neither here nor there. But then we
Hmm.
get to Ragnarok, and I don't, listen, man. You've been, I'm, you know what? I can critique you, my good friend, on not, you know, anticipating one of the greatest games that's been out in the last decade and stuff like that. But its sequel, regardless of if you have a history with the past games or not,
Hmm.
you played one of the greatest games of the decade. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like you should have been at least a little bit more enthused about a sequel. But I'm glad that you are now
Yeah.
properly enthused.
So in
And
my
this trailer was
defense,
amazing. Go ahead.
to just give a little context, really love God of War 2018. It was my main entry in the franchise. I played one of the PSP games. It was fine. I tried 3. I could not get into 3. I tried twice. Once before 2018, once after 2018. Could not get into it at all. Um, 2018 also loved. I think it's out of the first party PlayStation games from the PS4, it is like top two. I don't know where it would land top two, but it's top two. Um, and then I think
Wait, what's your one?
if it counts Bloodborne.
No, that doesn't count. That's not first party.
Well, it was Sony Japan. It was Japan Studios, and then From Software. It was a collaboration.
That's not.
That's why it's never going to be the same if they make Bloodborne 2 because Japan Studios is dead. Anyway,
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
I'm
No,
telling the
you're gonna
truth. That's
love
it.
it.
That's the magic of that game.
Yeah, but you're telling me if they announce that you're not buying it day one, get out of here. You freaking liar. You freaking liar. You want to bet money on it?
There are Kevin. There
You
are
want to bet money
many.
on it?
I'm telling you right now, there are many circumstances about me
Such a
buying a
liar.
Bloodborne 2.
You're such a liar. You're
How
such
am I a
Of
liar?
course
You,
you're
you said this
No,
you said the exact same thing
you're
last year
buy-
when I was like, I'm not buying
but-
remake, I'm not buying part
No,
one.
but,
You're like,
okay,
you're buying it.
Yeah, no, that okay. It is what it is. But this is you talk about Bloodborne every fucking week.
No, but can you hear me out for 1 second?
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead, brother.
Genuinely, part of the magic of Bloodborne is the fact that Japan Studios was on it. Because From Software they don't always make a perfect 10. That's they are fallible. And the main thing is I like if Bloodborne 2 gets announced and Miyazaki's not on it and From Software is not the lead team, I'm good. Bloodborne is already a masterpiece. I don't need more of that. If it's not those two things, if it's Blue Point and they're like, this is our vision of the world of Bloodborne, no, get out of my face. I'm sorry I'm stingy on that, but that's like, to me, this is like if somebody was like, we're making Metal Gear Solid 6, it's going to continue everything, and Kojima does not even know it exists. Like, that's the same thing to me.
I'm gonna still check it out and just give it a fucking chance and just see what's up with it.
There's
You know
so
what I'm
many games
saying?
to play,
Like,
Kevin.
you know what I'm saying?
I could try out something that I've never played before, you know?
Yeah, but like, I'll even like you talk about Bloodborne every fucking day, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You would buy it. Stop it. Stop fucking lying to yourself, man. Anyway, go ahead, bro. Go ahead, bro.
So yeah, God of War. uh, like I said, I love 2018. A lot of that was like me thinking like, oh, Corey was a key part, and he is involved still. He did write the story premise, but the fact that they were shifting directors made me a bit hesitant. And truthfully, this might be a hot take. I think everything they've shown so far, like it was great that it got announced when we got the little logo. It was like, oh, sweet, 2021, yeah, right. When we saw it for the first time, it's like, sweet, it's real. Everything since then, nothing's really wowed me, like at all. And I think this is the first like great trailer this game has had that's not tied to the fact that we're finally seeing it, is where I'm coming from. Because then like the one with Kratos in the cave sharpening the thing that opens on that, right? You know what I'm talking about? I like revisiting that trailer. A lot of it is like the excitement was in the moment. It was like, oh wow, we're seeing Ragnarok like so soon after the reveal. I think as a trailer, it's fine. Like it shows Freya and like Angerboda, and like those are the big moments. And then this, I think, is the first thing that's gotten anywhere close to the way I felt leading up to the original.
No, you felt nothing about seeing Tyr.
Not really.
Nothing at all about nothing.
No.
You don't read. Did you forget that he was brought up multiple times in God of War 20 and like
Yeah,
he was like the core, like you forgot that.
No, I didn't forget that. I knew we were gonna see him in this game. It's the same reason last week we were talking about that leak. And I'm like, yeah, fucking duh. But
on, man. You know, you're really just, you know.
No, I'm trying to compliment this
soul.
trailer, Kevin. I'm trying to compliment this piece of art.
I'm sure you fucking are. Go ahead.
This is this is a great video game trailer, and I understand it's because we're getting closer to launch that they can actually do that and they don't have to be so reserved. But like, it's I think God of War 2018's marketing was like incredible from the moment it got revealed. And every time you got to see more of it, because so much of it was, what is their plan for this? How are they changing things? What are they doing to, like, move forward with this franchise? And everything so far with this one has felt like yeah, we're still making a sequel. Like, even the, like, kind of unceremonious gameplay drops. Like, this was like, oh, this is a conclusion. It feels like a conclusion. Stakes feel high. A lot of character drama in this trailer. They showed way more set pieces than I thought they would. In this as well. So I think it's a really great trailer, and it's the first time I've like genuinely felt excitement for this game besides the fact that it's like, yeah, it exists and it's coming. Like this one actually like lived up to, in my eyes, what a sequel to one of the best games of the PS4 could be, as opposed to like a, yeah, look at Kratos, he can grapple now. Look at Freya's mad. Don't you remember she was mad at the end of the game? She's still mad. This is a great trailer.
Man. You know what, man? You know what? It is what it is. You know, like,
Do you at least,
saved you a spot.
but like kind
I
of
saved
see
you a
where I'm
spot.
coming from? Do you at least kind of see?
I think I'm just biased because I fucking loved it, and I just like there was so much lore in that first trailer that like I'm looking at and I'm ranking that thing. So like, you know, maybe it's just a me thing, right?
To be
But like
completely fair
I
too.
also saw a lot of other people also be like me, be like, yo, like this shit looks crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like we lit, right?
Yeah.
But,
To be fair as well, I'm still like not over the moon. I can't sleep at night about Tears of the Kingdom. Like whenever
That's
they show,
cap.
no, when they, I'm excited for
That's
when it
cap.
comes out, but I think none of the trailers so far have been like mind blowing.
Do you really feel like that though?
Yeah,
Do you really?
I think
Do
the
you really?
implications are cool, and I know that's how you feel about the God of War trailer so far. But that's because you have an investment in God of War. I have an investment in Zelda, so when I see those little fucking swirly things, it's like, oh
Yeah,
shit,
yeah.
that's what they're going for. But I don't have that for God of War, and like how you sort of felt about how I'd like to see the game for Breath of the Wild 2 so far, and like see
I would,
more of what
yeah.
it is. Like that's how I felt about God of War this whole time. It's like, yeah, it's a sequel.
No, think of it hitting that. I'm still on their throat because there was a lot of like in-game footage and like
Yeah,
in-game cutscenes, and I get that, you know, this is a story trailer,
yeah.
right?
But
Like,
that's where
that-
I'm coming from.
that
Like
is-
how you feel about
that is. Go ahead.
how you feel about how they've been presenting the Zelda sequel is kind of how I've felt about it, except I just have more investment in God of War than you have in Zelda. So like I get that element, but like, you know, like I think Breath of the Wild 2, outside of the fact that they've been showing like it exists, here's the date. Like I don't like there hasn't been anything in there that's like really gripping. It's been a lot of like intent and like community discuss this, theorize forever, which is what most of the conversation around Ragnarok has been by the diehards, right? It's mostly been like, this means this, like, because that's what it's been up until yesterday, and now that's just cranked up more, right?
I mean, I'd say a little bit more because, you know, we've had gameplay for a while now and stuff like that, and like, you know, like meaty like 3-minute trailers, right? Like, you know, we just got another 3 minute. Well, I mean, the first trailer, right, the one that shows Angry Boda and all that, like that, I feel like was much more substantial because not in comparison to this, but just like in general, right? Because like we did get to see the actual game running and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So I always appreciate that, right?
Yeah.
But
But
this, you know, was good.
Even to like bring up the Zelda stuff, like they've shown snippets of the gameplay in there. I'm like, yeah, that looks like Breath of the Wild. The same way they've shown this, I'm like, yeah, it looks like God of War. You know, so it's not like a. I don't think the game looks good. It's looked good. It's just like this is the first time it's felt like there's a reason to be excited. You know, because I did have doubts after 2018 was the one that worked for me. I was like, if it's not the exact same replication of like the same studios, the same writer, the same everything involved, I had a bit of doubt because I've tried other God of War games from other people. Wasn't a hit for me. So that's all I'm saying.
I see, Pop. I don't know, just, you know, sometimes your words trouble me. You know what I'm saying? I toss and turn in this bed with no sheets over here. I toss and turn. You know, toss and turn.
But anyway, yeah, go off.
This trailer was amazing.
Yeah, it was
This
great. It was
trailer
really
great.
good.
I still have my foot on Sony's neck and PlayStation content output's neck. We the gameplay from Game Informer is not it's not acceptable, right? I'll take it. However, I'm still crying for more. Yes, okay. And that is in the form of a fucking dedicated state of play. Please. Please. Fucking please. And a good thing too that we learned about from this story trailer was that everything that was shown and everything that's been shown is in the first 5 hours of Ragnarok. Which is also great to hear, right? You know what I'm saying? Because that means we have a lot more unknown that we have not seen. And we saw a lot of different shit in this story trailer. Yes, sir.
You're telling me Kratos and Thor fighting is in the first
I can
5
definitely
hours?
see that. That might be first fight. What are we talking about? Absolutely. What the shit? Yo, he pulls up to his crib.
That's a fair point.
Absolutely.
But
That
also,
that's 100% the first fight. Yeah, absolutely. What the
rewind
shit?
theater on this. That fight, it is snowing. Like it's full on like snow and storm, gray clouds,
And
sky
it is
everywhere.
snowing, and it's snowing at the end of God of War 2018. What's your point? Yeah, that's fine. Like that could totally be it.
Right.
Right.
But I thought that they said the game doesn't start with like Fimbulwinter beginning or something like that. Didn't they
God
say
of War
that like it takes
2018
a bit?
ends with Winter beginning.
No, it skips forward to that, but I thought they said that the beginning of Ragnarok is pre that.
I don't know where they said that. I would
Okay.
show me that, but like regardless, like everything that we've seen is
Hmm.
5 hours
Okay.
into the game, which is dope. Yeah, and like I would definitely be like, yeah, no, Thor is definitely the first boss. Thor is gonna be the Balder of this game, absolutely, 100%. Because we're gonna have to get that hammer though to be Odin. You know,
So that,
you think we're being Odin without that hammer? Come on, man.
no, but that to me that screams like mid game fight of like here's the weapon now you get used to it for the rest of the game and then do it.
They need to introduce a new weapon to Ragnarok quickly. That's going to be Thor's hammer. We're going to beat Thor's ass, and that's how we're going to get it.
Do
Absolutely.
but do
You
they
want to put
though? Because
money
the
on it?
blades were in the last third of the game.
I'm saying that we need a new weapon for this new game, Christian. Do you understand what I'm saying? For Ragnarok, right?
Hmm.
I highly doubt we're not going to go the majority of the game with just the blades and the axe. That's not happening. I think we will wield Thor's hammer within the first 5 hours. Yes, absolutely. And we will get it, and that fight will take place early on, just like Balder. And then we will have the elemental powers of lightning and thunder and such.
You,
100%. Bet I will put money right now. I'll bet you
I'm
$100.
just I'm just
ASAP. Yes,
surprised more
sir.
of the
Yeah, that's definitely
like
happening.
do you think they're gonna like fully one to one repeat the structure of the first game is
No,
my question because I
I'm
think
not.
that
I'm
like
not.
if in the very early beginnings it's like you start the game you fight a god at the very beginning it's like that's already leaning into like hey don't you love 2018 like I
No,
don't
but
think
like
they would do that I don't think they would follow up the beginning of God of War Ragnarok with like the same way the first game opens that feels like
I
a
think
choice
it.
they would not do.
I think it's inevitable. The God of War 2018 end with Thor rolling up.
I
What do you
got
mean?
I
What are we
after we're
talking
done,
about?
I'll look later today because I feel like I remember somebody saying that like either that scene at the end of that game or the beginning of Ragnarok is like not when the next thing starts.
Yeah, like there is a time jump
Yeah.
before that cutscene happens.
Yes.
That's correct.
Yeah. I thought they
But
said the
it's
beginning
still
of Ragnarok is before when that time jump starts. I don't want to derail, but I feel like I remember them saying that. Because I remember they said there
the
was a time jump. Because that was it was like, oh well, why isn't Atreus older? And it's like, well, I think his answer was like, oh, that was like a vision he had or like a premonition of like what would be to come. Like I think he
yeah,
said
and
that on
like
one of his
granted, yeah,
like the
like that was a
podcast
dream.
tours he did.
Yeah, like
Yes.
that. Yeah, that was supposed to be
So
like yeah.
in real time, when that scene happens, Atreus will be older as opposed to where he was in the original game. And I believe in that same breath he was saying that the next game starts before that happens. That's what my assumption was this whole time. If that's wrong, then maybe they do open with that. But that's what I've been
I'm just
thinking
banking on
for
it's. I
months,
think it's very clear that they're
years.
like, hey, that Thor fight is one of the first few fights, 100%. I could see fighting Freya before Thor. I could see that.
I yeah, that to me feels
I
like
could
more
definitely
of a
see
follow
that.
up, kick the game off, do that. I really think Thor's halfway. Is my
You're
gut.
crazy. You're fucking crazy. Thor's not halfway.
What
Thor
was
is
the,
not halfway through the
what
game.
was the halfway of the first game? Baldur and the Dragon.
Thor's son. So I don't know,
Okay.
but nah, because I think they're gonna want to give us something like a new weapon,
Okay.
quick. I feel like for sure, for sure.
So I know we're running long, but the last question I want to ask you was: do you
Yes.
think that this being here, this being in the state of play, does this negate a showcase, like a full blown showcase happening the rest of this year? Do you think?
Yeah, I don't want to. I want to fully say no.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I know it looks very grim.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be the first to admit it. It's a long, it's a long night here. We got a little shimmer of light, a little pink. What the fuck? A little peak of sunlight coming through. You know what I'm saying? We're seeing some signs that okay, there is some life. You know what I'm saying? But I just think about things like the not seeing Hell Divers 2 right? Not seeing that. I know that that's not necessarily. I mean, honestly, I forget who develops that game, but like, I
I
don't
think
think they're Japanese.
Arrowhead
Maybe they are. I don't know, right? But like that, us getting leaks of that a few weeks back, and it being a real trailer. If I ever seen a real trailer, they're sitting on that for some reason,
Game
right?
Wars, maybe.
Maybe, yeah, who knows? But like my hope is that there will be a PlayStation showcase this year. That's still my hope. I understand it looks very grim. I understand this is probably me being very positive thinking, right? And wishful thinking. That could never be the case. If I'm wrong, y'all can laugh at me. I'll eat shit. I don't give a have fun. Okay, bet. All right. I'll be the first to admit it, right? But I don't know. I just feel like there is still room for this. And on top of that, right? On top of that, now it's a little bit even more exciting because then that removes God of War off the board of a PlayStation showcase in a big substantial way, right? Which could then open the opportunity for a real good look at 2023. Like a real heavy hitting. I know we're still not gonna have factions, right? That's still upsetting. That was definitely Axis not being shown at all this year again, right? That's upsetting, but we still have so much from Gorilla. We have a third project from Insomniac. Like there's Blue Point, I'm sure is ready to go with some sort of trailer at this point, right? Like there's still a lot there in the ether that like any minute now, when that showcase pops up, there's gonna be a lot of things that I've been cooking for a while. So that's exciting, from a first party perspective for sure. But yeah, this state of play, does wear those off. Like, okay, like would they, you know, they just spoke, right? So like, when's the next time they're gonna speak? We'll see. But from a grade perspective, I'm gonna give this, like, I think on my recap video I said like a B to B plus. I'm leaning towards like a B minus because if I'm being real, um, games that I'm for sure interested in, I can see myself playing someday. We got Star Wars, Hogwarts, eh. That one, eh. Star Wars, Pacific Drive, Sin Duality, Stellar Blade, Rise of the Ronin, God of War Ragnarok, right? That is 6 out of the 10 games. There were 12 things here. That's including the controller and the PlayStation Stars, right? So I'm at around 6 out of 10. You know what I'm saying? And overall, like I did feel that the gameplay that they showed here was really great. I feel like it was properly paced. Graded less announcements, 20-minute show, but still, I feel like it was a good cadence of announcements and such. And yeah, like, and overall, like out of the games I showed interest in, probably the least appealing would probably be Star Wars PSVR 2, right? Maybe just off of just like visual and just like overall premise, right? But like I still have an interest in that. Um, so yeah, I mean 6 out of 10 games that showed pretty well overall, and like from pretty well to like Ragnarok and Pacific Drive for me, right? Like it's a good show, good show, good show. So I'm hovering around like a B minus some days if I look at it, maybe B plus as well. But like I'm definitely in that B range for sure. Yeah, yeah.
Out of everything combined, three favorite games that were shown, because I think for me it would be Fire Emblem and then Mirage and then Ragnarok, because Zelda was kind of a nothing trailer outside of the date. It was cool. It was nice to see a date and like see it show up again, because I think there would have been a conversation if it was not shown again. But just strictly talking off of the showings we had over this last week, essentially mini E3. In terms of most excitement, out of the things that impressed me the most would be, like I said, Fire Emblem, AC Mirage, Ragnarok, and a special shout out to Tron Identity, because oh boy, what a game. But you're three, and then where can people find you?
Division Heartland, Pacific Drive. I guess Codename Red. I guess for Assassin's Creed. Is it Codename Red? Is that the right one? Code Red.
Codename Red, yeah, but
Yeah. Are we? I mean, are we counting Ragnarok? Is that?
yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then definitely Ragnarok. Okay. I
Why
thought.
wouldn't we?
I thought since you left off Zelda, I thought like that was our bias pick that like like was
No,
like
I
that's
didn't
not
pick
like
Zelda because it was a nothing trailer, like most of the God of War trailers have been so far.
you know fucking shithead. We get fucking man they show us gameplay so fucking long ago, and your bitch ass is trying to compare it to
They
that
showed
fucking
gameplay at
piece of
the end.
shit
We're
ass.
in the reveal of
You
that thing, dude.
okay? So Zelda title equates to 3 minutes of great luxurious gameplay that we saw months and years ago. Okay, that's fine.
We saw
That's
that
fine.
gameplay weeks
That's
ago,
cool.
man.
That's cool.
Anyway,
That's fine.
where can we
It
go
wasn't
find you?
weeks ago. It was
The
years
Game
ago.
Informer stuff, the highlighted gameplay,
That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the other trailer.
that wasn't 3 minutes straight of gameplay, man.
It was 3 minutes and had gameplay in it, sir.
So was the Zelda reveal,
nice
dude.
No, a nice no, but have you seen gameplay of fucking Zelda?
Yes, they've shown it in those trailers.
Have you? I guarantee there's more God of War Ragnarok gameplay out there than Zelda. That's
Yeah,
facts.
because it's coming out in 2 months.
No, I mean from that first trailer. There's a
Alright.
lot of gameplay in there, bro. There is, bro. There is. He pissed me off. That's what I got, man. Hope you enjoyed that fucking title. Hope you're crying. Tears of the fucking kingdom. Swear. Anyway, these are the constant plays and source. As of you probably can tell my notes. I did a full recap with all the info that we have so far on all these games. That did get recorded, but will be uploaded shortly today. But you go check out that. Definitely go check out that Naughty Dog video. No, think I want something there. Definitely go check out that. We'll have feature coverage of the Modern Warfare 2 beta on PS5 and such. Maybe a little impressions and thoughts about that as well. We have a Kana update next week I gotta cover too, so we'll see that. And yeah, all that great stuff. Last was Iceberg. Watch that video. We're titling it. Next, Iceberg is probably a game that we discussed today. Maybe.
Yeah, Bloodborne, you're doing it
Maybe it
finally,
is.
right?
Absolutely, I'm doing it, bro. The big ass stupid moon and shit. You know what I'm saying? The crazy hat. You know,
Yeah,
it's a hat, right?
Been
It's a
waiting on
hat.
that one for 2 years. What? Hat?
The hat, right? The hat.
What hat?
Is there a Bloodborne hat? That little like big
triangle
fedora.
hat?
Yeah, that. Oh, it's a head.
Hat. The triangle hat.
The hat, right? Yeah, it's a hat, right?
Yeah.
A hat, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. How much should I clue that iceberg? Does he have a triangle shaped head?
Maybe, I don't know.
What's under there? You know.
It's a character
Never know.
creator, whatever you want.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. All the souls
I
can
knew
do
that.
Mhm.
I knew it was a creative character.
Yeah, you can find me Chun2D2 everywhere. Here, youtube.com/joyclicks. Mondays, we got Arkham episodes coming out. Like I said at the top, Wednesday every week, Gamescast. Next week, we'll probably have some more impressions on some more games that are coming out because the fall's kicking off. But look forward to that. Here for the live version of the show, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, look up JoyClicks or JoyClicks Gamescast. You will find it. Rating and reviewing if you enjoy is a very easy way to help the show. It takes a quick second. We appreciate it. And if you want to support us further, you can do so by going to patreon.com/joyclicks at the $1 and $5 tiers. $5 will give you producer credit on every show we produce, like Aaron Easton and Jose Garcia. So thank you very much. That's Gamescast. We'll be back next week. Until then, it's pizza time.
It beats time.